Yeah.
We are live, we are live, we are live, we are live. My name is Tyrone Irvin, and this is Soapbox Heroes. Today, we have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful show coming to you. We got the best panel ever about to come to you. Let me turn down my side music. Let me get ready. But yeah, today we got a wonderful panel to you. Today's topic is commercial rap ruining the youth? And again, is commercial rap ruining the youth? So I'm going to take a second. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves. Robert, let's start with you. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Robert. Let everybody know who you are and where they can find you.
Robert Kelly. Find me on Facebook. I'm one of the Robert Kellys on Facebook.
Not that one.
Common name. Very common name, but it's one of the Robert Kellys on Facebook. Facebook.com/talkiswild, TALKWYLD. That's my URL. Also, look out for the Best Case Scenario podcast coming soon. So I will be right here on the Soapbox Heroes Network coming next month. So
yeah, we've been trying to get Robert on, man. I enjoy Robert's frame of thought and the way he puts things. I can't wait for you guys to tune in and see Robert. Anthony, you want to take a second and introduce yourself? Let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah, Anthony Rivers, man. You can find me on Facebook, and I also have a Facebook page called Child Support Reform USA, where I try to talk about how fathers need to be in their children's lives too, and how we deserve some type of custody, 50-50 custody, to be honest with you, and just how we need some change in the family court system. And you can always hit me up on there with any kind of stories or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, you guys go check Anthony out. There's always some good stuff posted on his page. You definitely get some knowledge. Hey, dude.
Hey, what's cracking, man?
What's cracking, Mr. Pharaoh? Take a second and introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you are, where they can find you, and what you got going on.
You can find me on social media, DUKFARO, and I am Mr. Where the Footage At.
Mr. Where the Footage At. All right. Hey, you guys, we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, today's topic is commercial rap ruining the youth? And so I'm going to start out with the first question actually being the topic, and then we're going to move on from there. And I'll just go the same way as the introductions, and I'll start with you, Robert. What do you think? Is commercial rap ruining the youth?
Well, when you talk about that, it's like, I'm going to just make it relative to everything else. No, there's because there's plenty of youth that don't listen to rap. They listen to other types of music, and they're just as bad. I'm not going to say that our people that predominantly may listen to rap predominantly, like they're any worse off as a group than any of these other kids listening to rock and roll, aka the devil's music, all that shit. Those kids just as bad. So I'm not going to say like our kids stand out or anything, because I see a lot of bright, creative youngsters. Music actually makes you more creative. It makes you smarter. And I think that if you got to make it something that people want to plug into, I think that you want to plug into that. And there are going to be some negative effects, yeah, but that's just about with anything. But I think that the positive is outweighing what the power that hip hop has in our culture has a lot more positive than negative. So I would say, no, it's not ruining the youth. I think that it in a vacuum, if you just let your kids, you let your kids do anything unchecked, it has a negative effect. But with proper parenting and otherwise proper parenting and other aspects, no, by itself, hip hop is not ruining the youth.
All right, what do you think, Anthony? Is hip hop ruining the youth?
Yeah, I understand what Robert's saying when he talks about, white folks listening to rock and roll and how they might get drugged out. But as a black man, I always try to make sure I don't really give a damn about what the other races got going on. So, I don't try to judge myself or my people off what's going on with the Arabs or white man or just anybody else. You know what I mean? So when I look at it like it definitely has a negative impact on our community, because You know, just like, for example, you got the rapper now, the Baby, and I heard one little song that I thought was pretty interesting, but you know, he's walking around in a diaper when he goes places.
A
And you know,
diaper?
a diaper, you know what I
Okay.
mean? You know, he showed up at an interview. I mean, he's actually getting pretty big right now, you know. And you know, he showed up to an interview with a diaper, has shown up to events, you know, with a diaper on. And I just feel like, you know, they're going so far. You know, you had the rainbow hair kid who's snitching now, whatever, you know what I mean? When you just see where they're going all the time, you know, you look at Cardi B, for example, how she influences, you know, young black women. You know, I just feel like, you know, it's just a negative impact. And then, you know, even when it comes to drug usage, there's always going to be a drug problem in every society. There's always going to be people who want to get high and get on drugs. But when you have musicians, rappers who advertise it, and you look at like Future, for example, his music promotes drug use, but when he had to go to court to fight for visitation and custody of his child with Sierra, it come to find out he doesn't even do drugs. So, you know, a lot of our people don't really recognize that. So I feel like it definitely has a negative impact on the youth. And in my opinion, I feel like kids, you know, especially black kids, because we can talk about how with the right parenting, you know, they don't have to worry about that. But I hate to say it, in a lot of the black homes, we don't have the right parenting. And I grew up in one of those homes. So I feel like, you know, we shouldn't be allowed to listen to that until we're like 18 years of age, have some type of maturity going on, and we've already had our mind state set comparison to, you know, listening to NWA when you're 8 years old, like I was. You know what I mean? Like, I just think that you have to be at the right age limit, have the right, you know, just the right,
The
you
right,
know,
you got to be right. You saying like right mental capacity or the right
yeah,
maturity or something like that?
yeah. The right maturity is basically what I was trying to get at. You know, once you already to where you recognize that these rappers really aren't living this, that a lot of these rappers really aren't living this. Because if you look at like NWA, for example, the only real thug or real person, you know, from the research I've done over the years and just watching documentaries and just learn about NWA, the only guy who was really about the life that he was rapping about was Eazy-E. Ice Cube was not from the hood like that. Dre wasn't a gangster like that. Yellow wasn't a gangster like none of the guys, but Eazy-E was the only guy actually really about that life. You know what I mean? So I
Okay.
just feel like a lot of time we got to be aware of the situation before, you know, we get to listen to that. So I just feel like it has a negative impact.
Okay. Negative impact. So you say, yes, it is ruining the youth.
Yes.
Duke,
Hey,
is commercial rap ruining it? Is it ruining the youth? What's your thoughts, man?
it's creating habitualism. You know, I'm talking about a bad one, not a good one, because you know some people wake up are now going to wake up in the morning with murder on their mind. Some people feel like some of these youth feel like when they, in order to be a rapper or a promotable entity, they have to promote these detrimental habits. They have to get out here and it's twisting your fingers up. Is, you know, wearing the skinny clothing, wearing all the different colors and promoting the genocide, and like that's they're turning it into a habit. Like it's a habit now. So just like brushing your teeth, like it's now being incorporated in their mental just the way that they live. Their consciousness is nothing but, okay, if I want to be a rapper, I don't have to really be creative. I can put a gun out there because this is the visual that everybody wants to see. This is the norm. This is like the basis of being a rapper. You got to have a gun. You have to sell some drugs. You have to pop some kind of psychotropic enhancer from these corporations, the Caucasian corporations, because ain't nobody really talking about smoking weed no more. They barely even say gas. They were saying they went to gas. Niggas really ain't even talking about weed no more.
Right. Okay. let me ask you, Robert, what do you think about what Duke said as far as the habitualism, making people wake up with it on their mind because they've heard it so much?
Hey, you know what? I can't really argue with that. As a matter of fact, I would, on these type of things, I mean, I would probably defer to Duke. I mean, he's actually a rapper. I was never about that life per se, and I'm almost 40. I hope I haven't lost touch with the youth, you know what I mean? With maybe what's true. So I would actually look at that as a blind spot in what I'm talking, in my own thinking that could possibly be there. So I'm listening, Anthony made some excellent points, about how he related the community, related it to the community as well. I do have a question for Duke. Duke, would you say that, I mean, you could probably speak to your own artistry and everything else. Would you say that your art comes from a lifestyle, or does the art actually contribute to the lifestyle? Like, is it life imitating art, or is it art imitating life?
No, my art actually gives my demographical circumstance life. It gives it a new life. My art does. Where I come from, it's like ain't no life in where I come from.
But are you telling a story from your experiences?
I'm repainting the picture. I put
so it's like your experiences, the things you see, and something you might tell a story of somebody else that doesn't have a voice.
Yeah, like Tupac said about the rose growing through the concrete. Like, I'm just re-illustrating it in a manner. We got houses over here. Mm-hmm. These are not projects. These are apartments. Like, that's, I'm cleaning it up.
Right. So what I would say, just based on that answer is, if we want to, the music is a representation for a lot of these people, even if they're not living that life exactly themselves, they're telling someone's story. They're telling a story of something they may have seen, or something they've experienced, or something someone else has experienced.
Right.
So if we want to change the harmful effects of rap music on children, we have to change the circumstances in the neighborhood first. Because it's just art, the art is imitating the life, is what's out there. If it wasn't people dealing drugs out there, it would be no drug dealing to talk about. They're giving voice to some people's reality. There's a kid that their mom really is smoked out, and there's drugs all around them, and they don't know how to outlet or express that. Then they listen to somebody on the radio, or they listen to something going on a song, and that person is telling their story, and they're really vibing and feeling it. Right. And you can't take that away from them. That's an outlet. You take that outlet away from them, these kids, they could go crazy. A lot of times
they could go crazy if you take it from them.
I think you take away something. You take away anybody's ability to tell their story. Mm-hmm. If they go crazy. And we've seen that. You know what I mean? Because for a long time, our people have not had an outlet for our story. As a matter of fact, when these stories come out, they want to blame the people that actually tell these stories like they're doing harm. When in actuality, if you guys didn't put them in the ghetto, they wouldn't rap about the ghetto. There'd be no ghetto to rap about. You understand what I'm saying? So it's a product. This is a product of a culture. You know what I mean?
Okay. Here, let's let Anthony get in. Anthony, what do you think? Do you agree with Robert that this is a product of things that are actually going on?
Well, when hip hop first started, it was more about reporting what goes on in your community. And there's still a little portion of that, but, and I know that this is going to, hopefully this doesn't get, anybody's YouTube page, reported, but
don't get me reported.
Yeah. I'm gonna try not to. I'm gonna try to say it in a nice tone, because, everything can be called anti-Semitism, when really at the end of the day, Black people were really Semitic people anyway, but that's a whole subject for another story. I don't know how you could be anti-Semitic when you are Semitic, but here goes the whole thing though. At the end of the day, who runs the music industry? Caucasian Jews. Now, at the end of the day, that is who promotes, who they decide who they want to fund, who they want to promote and put all the money behind to make popular. They control it. They control the music, all the outlets. They kind of determine who is going to be out there. So that also has an impact on it. Another impact is that we don't really buy the positive hip hop. You know, you can have positive hip hop that put you in a different mind and put you in a different mind state. But a lot of our people, because we buy and we're willing to fund and pay for it, and we want to hear the most negative shit around, is we support that more than we do the positive rap. You know, the brother's trying to tell you, you know, something positive. He doesn't go multi-platinum. He's not always going to be the head guy that you're hearing about the most. It's going to be the guy in the diaper. You know what I mean? It's going to be the guy who's telling you to take all these different pills and, you know, pop a Molly. You know, these are the guys who are going to be more popular. So a lot of it, you know, and I'm not just trying to blame the Caucasian Jews for everything, because at the end of the day, we choose to buy it. If we don't buy it, they can't sell it. You know what I mean? And it's the same way with the entertainment industry. You know, we talk about, you know, I was just watching, I'm not trying to change the subject or anything, but I was just watching a Tariq Nasheed situation, and he was talking about, where have all the warrior class gone in the Black society? And we were talking about how, you know, he was talking about how, all these men are wearing skirts now, how they're doing all these different things now, you know, at these little events. But then when I had typed in the comment, I talked about Tyler Perry, how he promotes the same type of stuff. He was like, no. But even Tyler Perry is a problem in the Black community when it comes to, you know, with dudes dressing up like women in these movies and dressing up in all these skirts and all this. This is a negative impact on us too. So just with the music industry and the entertainment industry, there is definitely a negative impact on our people. And we have to quit buying this stuff if we want to make a change. We have to promote and buy the positive music that, you know, is putting you, you know. So that's basically what I'm getting at.
All right, look, Robert, somebody over there playing charades behind Robert got him laughing. Hey, Duke, let me ask you a question, Duke. Do you think that that if people only made positive rap and took the complete negative aspect out of rap, would it sell?
No.
Why not?
Because you can't, like, when people are sick, they're not like medication is only prescribed for a time. You know what I'm saying? So if you take away the voice of the voiceless, like Robert was saying, if you take away the expression, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna cause people to say, well, shit, I don't want it then. Right. I don't want to go to school. I don't want to be a millionaire. It don't even matter. This is all they give us anyway. I don't even want to go to work. I'm on probation, but every time first time felon, every time I go and try to get a job, they don't want to give me that. And guess what? If that's how they don't even want to let me in the church. Like Jenna say, they don't even want to let me in because I got Timbos and boots. I got this and this on. So if I'm trying to be positive, they don't even like the way that I say my words because I'm using the little Ebonics. That's all I know. So guess what? You take the NWA out of music. You take the Public Enemy out of music. It's over with.
You saying you can't take the authenticity out of the music?
You gotta let people say, when I was broke, me and my mama had beef, 17 years old, kicked out on the street. And back at the time, I never thought to see her face. Ain't no one. You gotta let us have it.
Do you think a rapper actually should have to go through any of these things before they rap about it?
Yes.
Or
yes. People gotta be able to bounce.
Because I remember for me, when I was coming up, I'll never forget, I used to think Ice Cube was the hardest in the world because he had a lyric like, they should have never let a crazy like Ice Cube go. Like, you know, he was like, I'm like, dang, Ice Cube, they let him out the pen and he just crazy. And then I grew up and found out that he never had been to the pen. He had never been to jail. Robert, do you think that stuff like that has a negative impact there for the kids? Like, is it painting a false perception or is it just story time?
No. Well, first thing I want to say is Tariq Nasheed stole your topic because I remember when we had the topic about the warrior class already on Soapbox Heroes. So shame on you, Tariq Nasheed. If you see this, shame on you, brother. Secondly, but what I'm telling you though, there is a man because even though, you know, Ice Cube might have been talking about hopping out the pen, you know what I mean? And like, oh man, they should never let him out the pen. Like, you know what I mean? That feeling. There is somebody that is hopping out the pen right now as we speak. Right now, they hopping out the pen. And they want that, and they want to express that feeling, and they hear that lyric, and they're like, oh, that hits them in their heart. You understand what I'm saying? You making music, he's not just making music for himself. If he wanted to make music for himself, he'd be sitting in his room looking in the mirror rapping. But he's making music for a people. You know what I mean? You got to understand where everybody here understands that when you're talking about culture and you're talking about music, they go hand in hand. And so there are things about that certain people have gone through, and they deserve a voice as much as anybody else. You know, I can't rap. You know, I don't rap, but there's a lot of stuff that rappers might say that I feel. There's stuff I haven't been through, but when they say it, I feel that. There's stuff that I have been through, and when they say it, I feel that. You know what I mean? And you got to be able to connect. As long as they're connecting on some level, you don't ask an artist that paints a picture. Say they paint a picture of somebody bungee jumping or doing. Hey, have you been bungee jumping before? Because if not, you can't paint a picture of somebody bungee jumping.
Right.
You don't say that to them. So
right.
they know I'm painting it as looking at somebody that's doing it, and I'm telling their story. I'm telling them what I saw. You know what I mean? Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Matter of fact, that's necessary in the growth of a culture.
Right. That's a good aspect too. You know what I'm talking about? Because just like Tupac with Brenda's Got a Baby, like he didn't go through that. He just translated what she probably couldn't say, or the women that it happened to like that. Now, if you come from that demographic, you can make music like that. But if you don't come from that demographic to where you know people that go through that, you need to shut the fuck up.
What about, okay, Robert, what do you think about that? Do you think they have to come from the same demographic?
In a loose sort of way, I think that when you tell a story, it's best to be authentic. If I'm going to tell someone's story, if I'm going to write a book or something like that, I might want to interview the person that I'm writing about.
Yeah, at least be connected to it. At least be connected to it in some form of fashion. Like,
right.
You know,
or find
just be no culture vulture.
Right.
You know what
right. If for instance, if any of you guys sat down with me and told me about your life and your life story, there's a lot of things I ain't never been through or would know about your life. But I could sit down and get enough of you to write a book about you and talk to people around you. And then I could write a book, and that book could represent you. And I can make sure that you read it and you said, this is something that represents me, and we could make $1 million. You know what I mean? Because other people connect with that story. You know what I mean? But if you're not part of that, if you're not from there, you have to make the effort to connect before you propose to make an art or tell that story. You need to make an effort to connect. You know what I mean? And sometimes the connection just comes from people actually making that effort to get to know what somebody's going through. And there's nothing wrong with that. Empathizing with somebody is a great way it's very powerful, and it does show through art.
Hey, y'all subscribe to Soapbox.
Here goes my thing. Here goes my thing about it.
Anthony, yeah. I know where you're gonna go. I wanted just to ask a question to make sure that we go. I want you to touch on what they talking about before we go too far. Let me put it easy. What do you think about the fronting going on?
Okay, well, even beyond the fronting, which I'm not a big fan of, because a lot of these cats ain't never went through any of that. And then you look at like a rapper like Lil Wayne, for example. He went through a phase where he was a Crip, and then he became a Blood. You know what I mean? Like, he's had a real big influence on people, and he promoted that sip and serve to the point to where he's having seizures and convulsions and having all kinds of problems because of it. And he's promoted that out. He's promoting that out to the people. So I feel like that's also just a negative. But here goes my thing when Robert was talking about the culture, for example, and a lot of people like to say, oh, it's the culture. Well, see, my thing is, if you really look at hip hop now, because it's not the original hip hop when it first started. Now it's a culture of death. So it's not really a culture that you really want. If you look around, you'll need to notice that rappers are getting killed all the time. You know, with Nipsey Hussle being the latest. Now we could talk about, well, you know, it was a hater or whatever the case may be, but rappers are getting killed, you know, all the time. So it's become a culture of death, you know. So it's not really a culture that we should embrace. You know what I mean? And I understand the whole fact of, okay, well, these guys are like news reporters and they're putting out the information of what's going on in the community. But how is that really changing the community? It's not. You know, if you look at this culture, what it is now is we're killing each other, and we're talking about, we're worried about the white supremacists, which we should be worried about. But right now, we really got to be worried about our own people. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, you have the drug promotion. You have the consumer promotion, where you got these guys living way beyond their means, and now we're robbing each other at an all-time high rate in our communities, where we're sticking each other up, drug deals going bad, and all these different things, so we can get the gold chains, the gold grills. I need the slab, as they say down south, or I need the dunk, like they talk about in Florida, or whatever the case may be. You know, everybody's trying to get this material gains. So hip hop, you know, and then a lot of these rappers aren't even rich. If you look at R. Kelly, for example, just a prime example, he couldn't even, the real R. Kelly, you know,
I'm the real R. Kelly.
you know, he couldn't even bond out of jail and was behind on child support because he doesn't even own any of his music. So, you know, he was broke. So a lot of these musicians who you think have a lot of money don't even have the money. You know, they're just fronting for the gram. You know, the car that they're riding in is a rental or given to them by the label so they can look like $1 million, but don't have the $1 million. You know what I mean? So my thing is, like, you know, and don't get it twisted. Yeah, exactly. So it's just at the point now where you know, don't get it twisted, man. I still like to listen to some good music, but to some hip hop here and there. But I'm at the age where I can recognize it is for what it is. I don't think a lot of people in the youth who wasn't raised by men and haven't had the right upbringing are on that level.
Understand it, they're not mature enough. And that's what I was going to say. You had mentioned earlier about you think that people should have to be 18. And real quick, I want to say what's up to Warhol. What's up, bro? Brian Thomas, he say, what's up with Baton Rouge, Louisiana in this thing by way of Duke Pharaoh. Shout out to you, Duke. Thank you. Michael Rogers, Hawaii.
Hey, y'all make sure y'all, if y'all over here on my channel, y'all go over here to Soapbox Hero and get the discussion on his page, because the dialogue and the evidence of dialogue in this discussion will be great for his channel as well. Thank y'all.
I appreciate that, Duke. I appreciate that. All right. A little bit earlier, Anthony said, and I'm going to ask you, Duke, and I'm going to ask Robert the same question. He said that the maturity level isn't up. He like, these little kids don't know what's going on. So he posed that people shouldn't be able to listen to certain kind of rap until they're 18. What you guys think about that? What you think, Duke?
Man, they already taken parental guidance labels off of certain music. They need to put it back on. These parents need to be responsible. They making it to where these parents are not responsible. They got these parents on social media listening to twerk music, shoot a nigga up, this and that. These single mothers, because you already know the gentrification process that they did and all the genocidal shit that they've been doing, to where they got the father out of the home. See a man in the home would be like, man, cut that shit off. Put some clothes on. Why you doing that? Why you talking like that? I'm beat your head, you know, shit like that. So it's like people need to really just get into the mode of, hey, we're really not being beneficial to the progress of the mentality of our youth.
Okay. What do you think, Robert? 18. You can't buy no hardcore rap until you 18. What do you think?
Just find a way around it. But I think that, you know, definitely that's a thing of parents need to step in. Anthony's right about maturity. It is important for sure. Because, you know, just like I don't let my kids watch everything on TV or let them listen to everything. I honestly don't let them listen to everything. You know what I mean? but that's important.
Right.
You know, but I remember, you know, even when they tried to do that, it seemed like us as a community couldn't really do that. Right. I don't know if you guys remember C. Dolores Tucker.
Yeah, I remember her when she used to
Yeah.
wanted to bulldoze tapes and CDs back in the day.
Right.
Yeah.
She wanted a bit of rap music. What she called bad rap music that had cursing and things of that nature in it. And the only reason she wanted to do that was because she wanted to, you know, have a corner of the market on rap. She was gonna have kids rapping and doing some other stuff, right? And she wanted to get adult. I call it adult hip hop. She wanted to get it outlawed. You know, people like specifically like Bone Thugs and Harmony and things of that nature, 3 6 Mafia, those type. That's why Tupac was talking about her all the time.
Yeah, Tupac. About to say she was really going after Tupac too.
Right. So
Right.
she was going after some of these rappers.
Oh yeah, I know who y'all
It was in order
about.
it was in order to corner the market, to sell her own rap through,
Right.
you know, that she was gonna have kids rapping for her. So even when people seem like they had the best intentions on that rating system, you know what I mean, for the community, even behind that, there was some kind of nefariousness. I say that to basically, definitely it's going to be up to the parents, because to put too many restrictions on it, too much censorship, that's a slippery slope. You know what I mean? Concerning, especially concerning our people. I just think that rap has always been one of those outlets that's like, it's almost like it was a for us, by us type of thing. And it was one of those things that, you know what, the man couldn't take it away from us, because no matter where you're at, you didn't have to have a big studio or nothing to do it. As long as you have your two hands, you bumping a beat, or somebody got their mouth and they going with their mouth, and somebody else MCing, you know what I'm saying? Rapping.
It didn't take much to make it happen.
Right. And then I think that if we focus on hip hop, maybe just keeping it age appropriate for your kids, because I believe kids should listen to hip hop. It doesn't necessarily have to be the bad stuff, but kids do need to listen to hip hop, because they need that music coming up. It's gonna help. It helps them mentally. It helps them in school, learning music. It's something that some kids, they're not interested in nothing. Nothing gets them excited. Nothing inspires them like hip hop music has inspired a lot of our kids. You know, I'm tired of kids going around saying, "Oh, I want to be a rapper all the time," but at the same time,
it inspires them.
Yeah, it inspires them, man. I gotta at least give it to that. You know what I mean?
All right, and you guys,
if kids being plants, right, they need dirt, water, and sunshine. So they need 3 elements. They need good, bad, and the ugly.
All right, and that's a picture that I'm showing right there of C. Dolores Tucker, just so you'll have a reference on who Robert was talking about right here. She got the sign that says "Ban Gangster Rap." So if you don't remember and you want something to go look up just for a historical reference on the topic, you might want to jump in. That's C. Dolores Tucker right there.
What's with the handcuffs?
And my thing is, like, you know, I understand, okay, hip hop can help influence kids or whatever, but at the end of the day, man, we have to try to influence our kids with education. And I'm not just talking about sending them to school and educating them, but we have to educate them ourselves. You know, we have to try to influence them and motivate them in other ways other than just thinking music is going to be that outlet to do so. You know, not always just sports, but, you know, education as well. You know, we have to, you know, and if the school system is bad, maybe we have to relocate to a better school district. If we have to pay for private school, I mean, you know, we have to put that type of money and the type of effort into educating our children. And like I said, educate them ourselves, because they're not going to learn everything they need to learn inside these schools. Like, we have to educate them about credit, about finances and how finances work. I mean, these are the things that we have to educate our children on, you know, to help them get out of these particular situations, how to help them get out of some of these tougher neighborhoods and stuff. And not saying they can't come back to try to help build the community or to try to help the community, but, you know, to make that the first initial jump, you know, to get to college and to get an opportunity to land a decent job, or to build that education up enough to where they can create their own business and create their own job, which we really should be working on. You know, we have to make them believe, and we have to teach them that, you know, education is cool. You know, being a nerd is cool. You know what I mean? Like, And you know,
being knowledgeable is cool.
exactly.
That's the umbrella.
Well,
Exactly.
Well, Anthony, you know that a lot of teachers are incorporating hip hop into the classroom. If you think about it, I bet you there's probably a lot of books that you've read, and then there's songs you've heard. I bet you if I started playing certain songs, you'd know the words to the song, even if you hadn't heard that song in years. That's one way of getting people to remember things, by putting it in a song form. And one way that kids are learning now, a lot of teachers are actually incorporating hip hop into that learning environment with learning type of lyrics, or getting them to remember math, counting, and multiplication, and things of that nature by rhythm. And that,
I mean,
that's how we learn the alphabet. We learn the alphabet with harmony.
I mean, that's a good point. And see, if we're talking about that, using music in that platform, I don't have an issue with that at all. But when we're talking about gangster rap, you know, commercial rap that we're seeing today, you know, half naked women all the time with blonde weaves, and you know, cats running around with diapers and rainbow hair.
Don't talk bad about half-naked women with blonde weaves.
I mean,
here, let me throw something in there. And if you guys are watching, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit a like, go ahead and hit the thumbs up real quick. And Michael Rogers, he says something that's that I want to read you guys and see what you think. And it's a thanks for the topic. He says, the music industry is a capitalistic machine of debt that sucks like a vacuum, and these record execs cash out on our death and ignorance that now floods the entire social media. So what do you guys think about that? Michael Rogers with the comment. Thanks with the comment, Michael.
Man.
Well, I just want to say one thing real quick. I agree with that because, you know, I've done a little bit of research on these record deals, and they, you know, they have this, what they call a 360 deal, where basically, you know, they're finding cats who are broke, who come from nothing, offering them fame and a lump sum of cash, but they're taking over all the rights to all their money, to all their songs. So a lot of these guys will get that first initial check, but then they don't own any rights to their music. So It's just, you know, and that's how you end up like an R. Kelly situation where you're broke. R. Kelly doesn't own any of the rights to any of his music. Universal Studios, Universal Record Music or whatever owns all the rights to his music. So they are trapping a lot of these guys into bad deals, having them basically sign their life away. And if you look at like Prince, even, you know, these type of guys, they had to fight to get their music, you know, and, you know, so it's just, these bad record deals are definitely hurting people, and then they're pushing it out there because it sells, you know. So I mean, I agree with that.
Artists too that are like you, because I agree with you, because they took the whole little R&B game, and they was getting black folks on the R&B stuff back in the day on the soul music, and they was getting them, and they was owning those songs, so they allowed those white people to take songs away from them by selling to different artists. They own the songs, they own the masters, and a lot of these older guys got broke. And then it started happening in the hip hop game the exact same way, same blueprint, and these record companies were getting over. But now with the invention of the internet, one of the beautiful things about it is some of the largest artists in the world right now in hip hop are independent artists. They own their own masters, they own their own record labels, and a lot of times when you talk to rappers now, that's the goal for them. Matter of fact, you hear them clowning other rappers in certain songs because you don't own your own masters, or you did sell out. You know what I mean? Like you're funny, like your business is messed. They understand that the bit more and more like the business end, and being savvy on that business end is important, because they understand that this industry is a lot of money moving around, and they don't want to get done up by a record company. You know what I mean? Things, people like Tech Nine, Kendrick Lamar, Eminem, you know, they're independent artists. They own their own record labels. So they're basically rapping, and they're rapping, they own their own masters. They, you know what I mean? So it's about also, I think in whatever industry you're in, you're going to need mentorship. If you're doing it by yourself, you're trying to reinvent the wheel, a lot of times you're going to get messed up or brought up. But they are taking advantage of those really poor guys that maybe aren't educated and things like that. So, I mean, it's up to people, just like any other business or industry you go into, you have to learn as much as you can about that industry. You have to be educated on it for sure. So. All
right, look, hey, Duke, let me ask you this. We're talking about record deals. Do you think rappers needing deals or rappers going for deals is that what's taken away from the creativity in current rap? What effect does the deal have on the rapper?
Okay, well, Silly the Squid, he says he sold everything out the streets, right? He sold like 30,000. He's the only one who was able to do that in the streets in Philly, right? Beans was walked into Jay and Dame Dash. Cash was walked in. Well, if you look at it, you know that's gotta know somebody to know somebody and this and that and this and that. Now, if you talk about what the money is doing to these individuals, it's bait, because a lot of them are going in without entertainment lawyers. They're going in without knowing how to read contracts, and they're just signing paperwork, and they don't even know that they're jumping into a 360, or they they don't even know how many years the contract is on some of them. So I think that marketing deals, you know, like distribution deals is dope.
Mhm.
You know what I'm talking about? But everything else, man, it's really making them jump into a situation where ego takes over. Ego takes over, and now once the ego has, you know, taken over their psyche and their consciousness, then they get out here and it's like money, money, money. They have to live up to that. I just got the big check. I just got the big bucks. Now let me hold up this cotton with all these slave masters on it. You dig what I'm talking about? And now we finna, man, Pimp C sold out to Trump. Master P sold out to Trump. Been independent his whole time. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay.
you can comfortably go into the industry and demand what you want. And that's something that hasn't been taught to us.
Okay, Anthony, what do you think? Do you think that rappers are giving up at least their individuality for the rap deals? And talk about a little bit, what do you think they doing for the rap deals? Is that why they have to do some of the things they do?
Quincy Jones tried to you know, put the key in Tupac back. So yeah,
exactly. You know, and at the end of the day, I definitely believe your creativity will be, you know, affected, because, you know, you look at like situations where you know, these record companies will not put your album out when you're ready. And you've seen situations like even R. Kelly talked about that in his situation when he was, you know, trying to put out an album.
R. Kelly right here with us.
The real R. Kelly.
The other R. Kelly.
Like, no, I'm just playing. No, I'm just
My
playing.
bad.
But like,
Go ahead.
But like, you know, he was trying to put out an album and the record company wouldn't put it out because sometimes they want to keep you broke. You know, when you're broke and you're desperate, that's kind of where they want you. And then you look at that dude, you look at like even Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne was begging for how long to put out his album, and Baby, you know, he, you know, wasn't putting out his album. He wanted to put out Young Thug. He wanted to put out other artists that he wanted to promote because he, you know, for whatever reason, him and Lil Wayne was going through the situations, and Lil Wayne was signed to such a bad contract with Baby to the point where he couldn't even put out his Carter 5 or whatever he was trying to put out. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's just like when you sign these albums, if it's not what they want to hear, or it just gets to a point where they just don't want to deal with you and they'd rather promote some other artists that they feel can be more popular or they're trying to make popular, they just won't put your music out. Even if it's good music, they can kind of just throw you away whenever you want to. So I definitely believe that, you know, as Black people and as entrepreneurs, if we're going to continue to go down this rabbit hole and we're going to continue to push this type of music, you better stay independent, man, and just wait your turn, wait your time. You know, if you keep making good music, eventually you'll go big, and hopefully you can get to the point where you're doing your own distribution deals. You know, you're putting on iTunes, and putting on all these different outlets and selling it yourself, and be your own boss. You know, right. Stop cutting everybody.
Excuse me, because distribution is nothing but putting a link up, making sure that you find the right program, to where people pay before they download it. That's all distribution is on the internet now.
Okay.
That's easy.
So the internet has changed the whole distribution game
Yes.
pretty much.
Yeah, it's easy.
Yeah, because I got, I'm from Detroit, so I listen, I still listen to Detroit hip hop. You got guys like Team Eastside Peasy, you have Payroll, Giovanni. I mean, these guys are actually making money, FMB, DZ. These guys are actually making a lot of money, even like Sada Baby. These guys are making a lot of money, and they were all independent. You know what I mean? And just doing their own thing, making their own YouTube videos, just going their own route. So my suggestion is, if you're going to continue to go down this rabbit hole, make the real money. Quit cutting everybody else in on your pie. You know what I mean? And when I talk about everybody else, I'm talking about these other races. You don't see Caucasian Jews coming to cut us in on their slices of their pie. They don't come and just be like, you know what? We're going to give you some slices of this pie. You know what I mean? But every time we got something going on, there's always somebody else there to get not just a slice of the pie. A lot of time they want the whole damn pie.
They want the whole pie.
I mean? The whole damn pie.
Cut the middleman out.
Yeah, cut the middleman out, because, just like the brother Duke was just saying, sometimes these guys is trying to do funny stuff with you for a deal and take you to the back room, and just all these different types of things that you could avoid by just staying independent. But, you might not be able to go to the BET Awards and feel that, feel famous, because you're not getting invited to all these different award shows. But at the end of the day, you're getting the money. Just like the brother Robert Kelly was talking about, like that Tech-9 dude. That dude is rich. You know what I mean? Like, he's rich. He stayed independent. And I'm sure there's other artists out here. I'm just using him as an example. But he's really rich. I mean, he sells out everywhere. When he comes to Ohio, he sells out quick. You know what I mean? You'll see lines and lines. Did
Tech-9 pass away lately?
No,
that was the other Tech-9.
That was Tech-9 from like Philadelphia or something like that. Was he?
He's from Philly.
Yeah,
battle rapper.
From Philly.
Right.
I'm talking about the Tech-9 from Missouri.
From
Kansas
Missouri.
City.
All right, here, let me take it another way real quick, and I'm going to ask you guys, and Duke, I'm going to ask you the same question, and you as well, Robert. Look, the skinny jeans. We see a lot of the skinny jeans. We see the boys wearing like dresses and dress pants and halter tops. But is that just a sign of the times? Is that a sign of the times, or is that a sign of where hip hop is taking the times? Because if we think about it, when I was young back in the day, in the 80s and the 90s, the rappers had jerry curls. So is hip hop just evolving with the times, or is this specifically hip hop pushing the times with the skinny jeans, the halter tops, that type of fashion?
That's not.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's not cool. But basically, I've never, honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you. I have only seen one teenage boy in a dress, and he was like really dressed like a girl, like he wanted to be like a girl, and that was, you know what I mean. He was a gay person. Okay. But I haven't seen no guys. Like, I mean, I drive my kids to school just about every day, and I passed like 3 high schools. I don't see kids walking around with dresses on, dude. But
you said that hip hop or rap imitates what's going on, right?
So it's just, but I don't see. That's what I don't see that. So I don't see it in hip hop either. I mean, I see it in hip hop, but it's like this. This is the way I see it. A fashion designer says, "I want to get my fashions out there." Okay. And so they find someone to endorse their style. You know what I mean? They might hook up with a stylist they know, or the artist themselves, or a record company, somebody that they can pay to advertise their clothing. If someone chooses to copy that, someone chooses to copy that. I don't think that I seen Young Thug in a dress, but I ain't seen no little kids running around trying to dress like Young Thug. I haven't. You know what I mean? I might
go to Atlanta. Go to Atlanta.
Well, I guess it's Atlanta, but we Southern California out here. You see the skinny jeans, and I don't think anybody over the age of 21 should be wearing skinny jeans. But it's a lot of things. As I get older, I realize when I was a kid, my parents probably didn't like the way I dressed. There's a lot of stuff going on that I probably just don't get. My son probably gonna do that I don't get. But there's a difference between, there's a line, you know what I mean? Men's clothes, women's clothes, there's a difference. And I would not encourage or buy, I would not, as long as I'm buying the clothes, you're not dressing like a woman or anything that I perceive as womanly. You're not, you know what I mean? As long as I'm buying the clothes. And then, but I do understand too, you know what, his style is his own, and it's probably gonna be something about the way he's dressing that I don't like. Like I wouldn't wear it. Like I already don't like the shoes that be coming out half the time. So I know I'm getting old, but I think that's the whole thing with hip hop. It's evolving in a way that I'm not, and I can accept that. But don't. No, we're not doing the dress. The dress that I can't. I can't I can't with the dresses. No, I can't.
All
Okay,
right. Go ahead, Duke. Jump in.
No disrespect to Houdini. You know what I mean? Don't push us, cause we're close to the edge. Now, when you look at how they used to dress, you know what I'm talking about? Like it was hip hop made a stand, and they was like, "Nah, we ain't gonna rap like that." You know what I'm saying? We gonna, you know, I'm talking about big boots, baggy shirts, baggy pants. You know what I'm saying? We need some room to carry the yappas, and you know what I'm talking about? Like because we really live this life. So now we need big jackets and everything so we can pull out the Mac and, you know, do whatever we do. I feel like it is a sign of war on male masculinity in my demographic. It's a sign of war.
Okay. So why is it a sign of war? Articulate a little bit, Duke. Explain why it's a sign
because
of war.
Once you feminize those that were the generation that had to be indoctrinated with the Willie Lynch program and the Jim Crow and all of that stuff. Now you get to a point to where, okay, you take the man out the home. The estrogen levels go up, even though estrogen is not just a natural thing in women. Like the feminine gene, the Y or the X chromosome, it starts to enhance and evolve a little bit more. So that makes the male a little bit more feminine. Okay, now, so if this young man or these displaced young men and their father with the absentee of their father start to visualize what their surroundings is, and it starts to incorporate in their daily activities and their daily character, that shit affects their frontal lobe. You know what I'm talking about? Their whole character, everything, the way that they think and speak. And then if you go into the sulcus in the back of their mind, their consciousness, some of these men think that they're women simply because of their psychological upbringing. And there's no way a man can be a woman. There's no way. But men do have some of their chromosomes. Like, you know, it's half and half. You feel what I'm talking about? But as you grow and you develop, either your masculinity is going to take over or your femininity is going to take over. So with the clothing, the identification of. So as these young men are trying to find themselves, identify who they are, and they see, okay, well, my mama was tough. You know what I'm saying? My mama got compassion. And then when you look at the clothing, it's like, I can be who I want to be. You know what I'm saying? Whatever I want to do, I can wear whatever I want. Right, and that's how the industry is pushing these artists to do. So now these men are out here, they're not fighting nobody, and they're shooting at random. They ain't going to the gun range learning they ain't getting no concealed carry to be no Panthers or no Crips or no Bloods in the neighborhood to protect the children and the women and the, you know, from foreign and domestic betrayal. We're not being taught that through what they're indoctrinating us with. So now these niggas is growing up like punks. So I feel like it's a direct sign of war for our warriors.
Okay. All right. I got you. Anthony, you want to touch on that, what Duke is saying? What do you think about it being a direct sign of war? And what do you think? Do you think is the fashion just mocking the times, or is hip hop pushing the fashion? Not hip hop. We're talking about commercial rap. Is commercial rap pushing the fashion?
Well, I believe commercial rap is definitely pushing the fashion, but I do agree with some of what Duke was saying when he talks about how, you know, if the man is not in the home and your son is hanging around his mother more often, he's automatically going to pick up some feminine traits because he's spending more time with a woman than he is with a man. So that's a negative on a child, on a male child right there, you know. And then on top of that, when you're coming into to manhood, you're looking for role models. You know what I mean? You're you know, as a man, after a while, you start looking for a man to be like a role model, someone you could learn from, someone you could admire. And when you start looking for people to admire, if the first person that you see is some damn hip hop artist wearing a skirt or a dress, you're gonna find that acceptable. And then when he talked about the whole a war on black masculinity, I definitely believe that. That's why you hear like, you know, this toxic masculinity, and even like with the Jussie Smollett situation, there was articles out here when he faked that little situation, they started instantly attacking straight black men. You know, you look at the article like Jemele Hill reposted, and she was promoting from The Root, which is a white Caucasian liberal owned company that disguises itself as a black owned company. It said that straight black men are the white people of black society. So there is an attack on straight black men because, like we talked about on the show, like Robert was saying before when we had a conversation on, you know, what's going on with the warrior class, the black warrior class. If you eliminate the black warrior class, which is the straight black men, then there's no one left to defend the race. So if there ever is a situation, or even if there isn't a situation like a serious race war or anything like that, if there's no straight black men and no real men, the race is going to be finished. And that's one of my biggest problems that I have when it comes to black women. Not all, but some black women who seem to go for all this. They like the wild music. They let their kids listen to the wild music. They watch all the reality TV shows.
You think the music is having an effect on the women, especially like the younger women coming up? Do you think that any of this is because they're growing up in a culture of music where that talks about these things? If we're going to bring up the women, let's direct it in the same direction. Do you think that's a possibility yet?
Yes, because it's creating resentment towards our warriors, our men, like the Spartan women. You see how they portrayed Caucasian Spartan women. Only Spartan women make Spartans, right? So when you see that message being casted, because it's witchcraft, and just how they put their message out there. Look at our men. We don't look like warriors. We look like cowards. Our younger generation of warriors look like cowards, man. They don't really go to war. They be shooting from 20 feet away. You know what I'm saying? They be hiding behind guns. They do drive-bys and all this other stuff. When everybody else, it's either a calculated assassination, or you got a Caucasian, I'm talking about walking around massacring everybody. Them niggas look like warriors. They look like trained assassins and warriors, man.
And here goes another thing too. And I'm not really just trying to, you know, anytime you talk about black women, all of a sudden it's like you hate black women. But I'm just going to say this. Sometimes I don't blame black women because women are going to go whoever has the power. You know what I mean? They're going to listen to and go with whoever has the power. And when you look at it, it's the white man that prints the money. It's the white men that are running the whole show. They run the whole show. You know what I mean? So a lot of times they're going to follow whatever trend that the white man is pushing and that he's using our people to push. You look at Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, you know, these off-ass women, you know, they've been promoted the most as of lately. You know what I mean? So they kind of tend to follow whatever's going on. And then if you look at black men, like what he was talking about, you know, and I'm not trying to promote no negativity, but if you look at black men, for example, where, you know, when it comes to us, we'll gun each other down. But these same cops that everybody's complaining about, when he comes, you hand over your gun and then go to jail. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, you know, I just don't know, man. Sometimes it's tough, but at the end of the day, a lot of the issues that we have with our men is because we have to get back to just doing it the right way. Women have to show men more respect and recognize that stop this. I don't need a man. I can be the mommy and the daddy. That's not realistic. You can't be the mom and the dad. Now, am I saying that there aren't some strong Black men out here who have been raised by women? Yes, there is. I'm not saying there's not some, but if you look at the overall view, it's a small percentage.
Right.
And if you look at a lot of these Black women out here, because I was watching the one show that you had posted about the LaQuisha situation, and I watched that. If you look at like the LaQuisha video, Soapbox Hero, you need to check it out. But when you show like how a lot of those Black women were fighting each other and would go straight to fighting each other, that's what's wrong with our Black men. We see that type of behavior with our mothers. You know what I mean? My mother was a fighter. I watched her get into tons of fights, fighting men and women. I'm not gonna lie. I watched that. So as men, we run off emotions the same way our mothers and the Black women in our community do. Instead of running off our minds and being
Instinct.
smart.
We're not using instinct anymore.
Exactly. We run off emotions, and it's those same emotions that'll have you killing your own people over something dumb. That if you would have just sat down and been like, you know what, man, I'm not gonna let my pride get to me, man. We can have a serious sit down. We can talk this out, and we can get to resolve this situation like men. You know what I mean?
All right.
All
right. Here. Let me get Robert in. He been over there silent for a while. Not that. Hey, let me ask you guys a question. Since we got a real literal Robert Kelly on, would it be clickbait if I put his name in the title like Robert Kelly? Dude, is that clickbait? If I put Robert, it's really Robert Kelly.
I don't want to disappoint nobody.
It ain't no disappointment. You're really Robert Kelly. All right. I ain't gonna do it. Robert, what do you think? Do you think it's a war on the on the warrior class? And again, I'm gonna ask you as well. Do you think that the skinny jeans is just a sign of the times, or is rap, commercial rap, perpetuating that and pushing it?
I think the war on the warrior class comes more in terms of stifle economic mobility, mass incarceration, over enforcement in neighborhoods, Black neighborhoods in terms of drugs, but under enforcement in Black neighborhoods in terms of violence. Okay. They let a lot of violence go on unenforced. But the drugs they're very aggressive on, as in terms of instead of treating it as a disease that needs to be treated, they're treating it as a crime. Until the opioid addiction showed us that now somehow they've had a change of heart when it's their own people. So I think that the fact that we because we don't get the kind of enforcement in violence, I think that a lot of times.
I want to say one thing. I don't mean to cut you off, but I want to say one thing. It's actually harder to prove a murder case than selling drugs. So that's one aspect. And then a lot of time, that's why you watch First 48 in some places, like in Ohio, for example, you can be out in a couple hours as long as you don't go in there and telling yourself. You know what I mean? So that's one aspect. But then another aspect is too, our community a lot of time will not work with the police on those particular situations. So it's a little bit harder to stop some of the violence.
Right. But I think also too that they don't care. Like they don't care about solving crimes. Like another nigga dead, especially if the person was considered a gangbanger or someone, you know what I mean, that they consider dangerous, or somebody they might have even been looking for. Oh, well, he lived that life. So like almost like he's not worthy for his murder to be solved because he lived that life.
See, I don't believe that because I'm not trying to cut you off, but I don't really necessarily believe that. The reason why I say that is because these cops look at it like, okay, he killed this game banger or whatever, or this nigga, this Negro that we don't care nothing about. But it's like knocking out two birds with one stone. So they want to get that other person. They do, because it's like knocking out two birds with one stone. We got the one dead, and now we can throw this other one in the cage and make his ass work for 7 cents an hour for the next 30, 20, however many years. And then he's away from his kids, So I think I think they want to get you.
More in terms of, I don't think they do enough to prevent that type of violence in the first place. They let it happen so they can do that. You understand what I'm saying? It's crime prevention. Cops know that it is about crime prevention, not about just catching criminals. But they don't do the same things to prevent crime in our neighborhoods as they do in the other ones. It's more like they wait for you to commit the crime. They expect you to commit the crime, then they bust you. You know what I mean? So it's totally different. So to me, and then it's just part of the fact that we're over patrolled in our neighborhoods as well. Just the mass incarceration. But you're right. 1 in 3 murders are unsolved in America. 1 in 3. I mean, that's good odds if you really.
A third? Really?
A third. That means you got really good odds if you want to kill somebody, especially if you want to kill somebody for no reason except for like the color the colors that they fly in. That's
all
easy.
Right. I can dig
easy
it.
money if you're careful. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
right.
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 As far as commercial hip hop and what they bring to the table in terms of the war on the warrior class, I think that it's actually kind of the opposite, where you see more commercial rap that is misogynistic, where they're promoting a certain type of bravado and a certain type of over-sexualized manhood that, you know what I mean? Not necessarily as much as they promote any kind of homosexual behavior. I think they promote like a weird perverted sense of what a man's supposed to be in a lot of ways. So but in terms and commercially, about how many women you can hit makes you a man. How much money you got in your pocket, no matter how you got it, makes you a man. And how
you want the chick with the fat butt, no matter how dumb she
come on,
is,
Anthony, who don't
or
want
how
that?
many. Yeah, I mean,
Speak to Robert. Say what's on your mind. What you thinking about?
Who don't even, no matter what, I don't care how holy you are, you want that, you want it to be right, homie. That's real.
I really don't like the big super butts and the big.
Can you take him off the show now, please?
Yeah, I look. The reason why is because I don't like to compete.
I'll take an average chick with some good.
I want loyalty over everything. I want loyalty, respect.
Yeah.
I don't want to compete. I don't want to have to worry about her safety when she goes out, and these perverts, might try to rape her, might try to, and if she go work at the strip club and she got a cat like the dude on Players Club, but I support you, and you think it's gonna be a street nigga, and this a nigga with some glasses who work at the post office, done pushed up on your girl while you ain't around. So I don't want to compete with all the possibilities. That's what I meant by that. I don't want to compete with possibilities.
She feel like she don't have to clean. She feel like she don't have to clean or cook because her ass is big as a basketball. Nah,
yeah, no,
I'm cool.
I don't want that.
I'm cool. I'm cool.
You're right. I guess if I had an alternative between one or the other, if I had to take just one or the other, I would rather take a loyal woman that cooks, cleans, and is a good woman.
I want a traditional woman. That's not traditional.
That
ain't traditional. I don't want no fake ass butt, because eventually that shit the fixer flat gonna deflate. I don't want that.
Even if it's real, I really ain't all that pressed. I want a mother a woman who gonna read to my kids and educate my kids. And exactly.
You guys want the brain to work. All right, let me ask you guys. Hey, are you guys frustrated with commercial rap? Because you might not find nothing wrong with commercial rap. Duke, are you frustrated with commercial rap at all?
Yes.
Why?
Hashtag shut the fuck up. Yes. Because,
Why? Explain. Hashtag.
Okay. I'll explain. For those that are oppressed, they are not actually breaking down how you get the chains, how you get the money, how you get the lavish lifestyle. And then, like Lil Boosie say, they don't explain what comes with it. Death, jail, extortion, homosexuality, and not explaining what comes with all of that. So yes, I'm frustrated because they repeat the same basic shit over and over, and they don't actually go in depth on how you get there and how you fall from there.
Okay. So you don't like the fact that they don't give the whole story, they just only give you some of it.
They ain't got no table of contents. They don't got no
No recipes.
Just a book. Just a book with like a couple pictures in it. That's it. They got a book with number pictures in it, like Kim Kardashian trying to put their book out with all them pictures, and they might put like Twitter characters, like 120 characters with every picture. Hell no, that ain't enough. That ain't enough.
All right. Robert, what about you? Rap, commercial rap. Are you frustrated with it at all, or does it not bother you?
I'm not frustrated. As a matter of fact, I turn my radio on in the morning when I'm driving my kids to school because I listen to Big Boy in the morning. I love that dude, Big Boy. I listen to
That's radio though, cuz that ain't you listen.
Oh, they playing commercial. Where's commercial? Where's commercial? I'm not gonna buy it.
Right.
So where do I listen to it? I get it off the radio. Right, so I listen to it off the radio. That's what lets you know if you're commercial or not. You on the radio. And then I do turn on my Pandora. And usually with the hip hop, see, because I'm getting old. The hip hop I listen to is from the 90s and the early 2000s. So
right.
I'm flexing with those guys, but I'm not mad at some of the younger rappers of today and stuff like that. I just but that's different. I know the difference. If we're talking about the youth, I mean most of the youth don't even want to listen to what's on the radio. Most of them, they got their own, like, I ask them who they listen to, and it'll be some obscure rapper I know nothing about. And that's a good thing. The only thing, the good thing about the internet is that the internet has allowed so many people to emerge that it's easier for people to find their voice, their type of rap, the stuff that speaks to them. You know what I mean? That means if a kid really isn't with that type of stuff and not about that life, he doesn't have to listen to that. He can listen to some rappers that rap about love and between man and woman type of love and or getting money, business. They got all kinds of different rappers. They all, it's just about finding you. I'm not mad at it at all.
All right. What about you?
I'm only mine just goes towards the trap rappers and the skinny jeans. That's my only frustration. Everybody else, they can, it's fly.
So the trap rappers and the skinny jean rappers. What about the mumble rappers?
Oh yeah, mumble rappers.
I don't even listen to mumble rappers.
Yeah, them three, all three of them. I'm frustrated with all of them.
When they call the Migos they call the Migos mumble rappers, right? I like
Snoop Dogg did.
I like Migos.
Snoop Dogg called the mumble rappers.
I listen to the Migos. That's probably, if you talk about modern rap, young people, who do I listen to? It would be them.
Okay, so why do you listen to the Migos?
Because they're lit, as the kids like to say. They're lit. They got flavor.
You keep saying you don't listen to the young stuff, but you talking about lit, the Migos. Go ahead. Go ahead. You hear? Go ahead.
Hey, come on.
Go on, say something, man. Yeah.
What'd you say, Robert?
Ed want to say
I'm old.
Oh yeah, I'm good. I listen. I'm listening.
I got kids. I ain't that old, and I ain't that old, and I got kids. So we listen. Trust me. It's like, come on. I look forward to, as my kids get older, because I have young kids and I have some teenagers and I have, some almost grown. But as they get older, I look forward to maybe sharing stuff with them. I want to know what you're listening to. I want to know what pulls you, what your direction.
Okay, so do you listen to the Migos with your kids to break down what they're talking about, the trapping and the gun?
My kids
and all of that.
My kids
do
don't
you
understand.
Explain that to them?
My kids don't understand the words, like, you know what I mean? They be rapping too fast for them. So I just be in there, We
So
we love the chorus.
you enjoy the genocidal music that the Migos put out.
No, you know what? You know why I enjoyed the genocidal music that DMX put out, T.I. and Ice Cube and
Yeah,
that's who I was listening to when I was coming up. Tupac. I enjoyed all that. Why don't
Yeah,
why can't I can't enjoy that?
The Migos is talking about popping all kind of Zans and all type of stuff when you listen to them. So I'm really surprised that you would listen to that
wow.
with your kids. But you know, my thing is like, you know, when it talks about being frustrated with the music, I'm frustrated not only with the music industry, but I'm frustrated with just everything, every type of entertainment that has to do that is being pushed on Black people and that we watch. You know, I feel like we got to change what we watch, what we listen to, all the way around the board. And even if we're still going to have some of this, you know, gangster rap and you know, because like you said, we're not going to get rid of it, and I understand it. But there's got to be a balance, man. You know what I'm saying? We gotta have a balance, you know, and that's my thing. Like,
hey,
yeah,
and to defend DMX, excuse me, DMX is he doesn't fit the mold of a genocidal rapper. He's always been like a prophet to us, you know what I mean? So I got to defend DMX, man.
All right. Hey, you guys, we got somebody new in. We got Nashane. Nashane was and Nashane got something to say. Nashane, what do you think? What's going on? What you want to add? Wait, but introduce yourself first. Nashane and company. Both of you guys introduce yourself.
I'll go first. I'm Nashane. I have a YouTube show called Paper Doll Houses, and my whole goal is to encourage the youth to kind of grow forward to become self-sufficient leaders of tomorrow.
Exactly.
Self-sufficient leaders of tomorrow. Okay, friend, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Kelly. I also work on Paper Doll Houses with Nashane, and I also am working on a blog called Beyond the Archetype and Dear Little Black Girls.
Okay, what are they about? What are the blogs about? Talk to me.
So Beyond the Archetype, basically exactly what you guys are talking about right now, you know, in gender and hip hop. I mean, mostly what you're saying is like, you know, controlling images, like hypermasculinity, hypersexuality, over-sexualization of women, you know what I'm saying? Like, and where in that do we find, like, you know, ourselves, or where do we find that we fit in? So Beyond the Archetype, I mean, that's like beyond like the archetype of the Black male, the Black female. Like, aren't we more than just our bodies, or aren't we more than just, you know, what the money in the cars and all that stuff?
Excuse me, can you say Paper Doll y'all's YouTube channel so I can subscribe and tell my subscribers to subscribe?
It's called Paper Doll Houses.
Paper Doll
I gotta
Houses.
send a link because it's really hard to look it up for some reason. Probably because the name.
Okay, yeah.
If you go to Duke Pharaoh on YouTube, you can post it in my comment in my live chat, so they can just click on it and go to it right now. Faro.
Yeah, you could post it in the link here too. Duke told me how to pin the link the other day, so I'm learning. But okay, Nashane, hold on. Get a phone back to Kelly. You already bogarted her to introduce yourself first. Get a phone.
No, I don't know what happened to my phone. How do I get back? Oh, there it goes. Right there.
Hi.
All right, Kelly. So what do you think? What do you want to add to the conversation? What perception are you coming from?
You know what? I feel like there's nothing new under the sun. You know, so with that like in mind, I feel like, you know, at some point we have to understand, like, we do depict like our art, you know, like, and that's fine. Like, I don't see an issue with, like, you know, the music industry. I don't see an issue with that. But I also at the same time, I feel like, you know, something's got to give. Like, where's the knowledge? Like, where's the hunger, you know, to be like better, you know, like the image, like that's fine. Like the money in that, like that's great. But what do you have to show for that other than diamonds and, like, you know, all these fancy cars. Like, what do you have to show for that? What's the substance behind that, you know? So
Right. Okay, and we got a comment from Christopher Brown. He say, I don't like the depressing extra lyrical rappers like Eminem, and Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole.
Whoa.
Hey,
Can I say something?
He know.
Shout out Death of the Clout Chasers. Hey, and you guys go subscribe to Clout of the Death Chasers TV. I subscribed to him the other day. He put up some good content. Go ahead, Nashane. What do you think?
Okay.
What you want to add on?
Well, in my personal opinion, I've seen a lot of young rappers out here, even in your local community, that are struggling to try to make it.
What's out here?
Well, I live in San Bernardino, and so I was working at a youth center, actually at a school, where there's a little boy, he wanted to be a rapper. And so when he started off, he started talking about bitches and hoes and money and all this different stuff. And I'm like, awesome, that's cool. But why don't we talk about something else? Can you rap about just something simple like football? So he gave me a whole verse on football. I was like, that's cool. Now, can you write me something about, I don't know, oppression? And then he did that. And I was like, why don't we change the mind frame of these younger generations that are trying to make it up and that are trying to, you know, that are rapping right now, basically. Well, yeah, if they're targeting the youth, isn't that our job to go ahead and just switch out like their mind frames? Like, hey, I know that this is what you look up to, but imagine if we could change their minds.
All right.
I mean, I know they're not.
What is it? AMAYS. Amai says, asking for the call-in number for the chat. If you want to get on, let me know. You got to email me, and I have to send you a link actually to jump on. There is no call-in number for the live chat, but I'm pretty sure you're talking about to jump on. All right, were you done, Nasha? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't mean to cut her off either, but the biggest problem with that is what she's saying is it won't sell. You know, that a lot of the positive stuff will not sell. You know, so it's like, and these brothers know that, so they have to stay as negative as possible, even to the point where they're making up stuff. You know what I mean?
And the reason why it won't sell is because those that actually consume the most of it being urbanized women, they don't play it for their kids anyway.
And white people.
And yeah, they don't play it for
white
their kids.
People buy a lot of hip hop. But check this out. When you go watch
they buy a lot of Migos.
It's a marketing
and
scheme.
guys.
That's all it is.
When you go watch a movie, you don't want to watch a movie about your own life. You want to go and live vicariously through somebody you want to check out. You want to be somebody else. You want to be Indiana Jones, or you want to be in a Western, or you want to be Thanos, or you want to be something else that you're not. So it's the same thing with rap. A lot of these cats are not doing what they're listening to. They're living vicariously through someone else's story, and you don't want the the positive. That's not that. It doesn't always inspire you. Like, you don't want to live like that. Like, I go listen to some Mariah Carey or something if I want that type of stuff. If I'm listening to rap music and hip hop, a lot of times, man, it's like, you know what I mean? It's you know, you want to listen to something, you know, you're not a gangster, but you want to listen to some gangster rap. You want to hear how the gangsters do it.
But that's the danger, though, of these young cats listening to that gangster rap and then going out and really trying to be a gangster. You know what I mean? Like,
that's sad. And it's the same thing as when your kids watch cartoons, Tom and Jerry, and then you see one of them trying to box somebody on the head. You let them know that there's a difference. You got to be able to talk to your kids.
All right, Nashane and Kelly, what do you guys think about Anthony when he says the only problem with that is that it won't sell?
I think back in the early 2000s, when they was promoting nothing but poppy positive stuff, it sold. But it was just, it was a trend, and it actually caught up with each other, even with hip hop. I want to say not even hip hop, let's say hip hop first started, right? It was still a trend, and it caught on, and it was still kind of semi-positive at first. But eventually everybody's like, let's talk about our hardships and stuff. And then it went from hardships to let's just be flossy and talk about bullshit. So imagine if we reversed everything, pulled it back to the beginning, and somebody who was, I don't know, lyrically a genius start talking positive, it might actually catch on.
So go ahead, Kelly. You want to add something to that?
I feel like I don't know how to put this, and I want to put it in like the best way possible. I feel like a lot of people, they do sell out, you know, like a lot of artists, like nowadays, they do sell out for like the amount of money. Like, ain't no amount of money in the world worth like sanity. You know what I'm saying? So if I can really listen to an artist, you know, like Kendrick Lamar and J. Cole, which I do listen to avidly, I can understand like it's not just about the money, it's not just about the fame, like it's not just about that. It's about depicting like this is my reality. Like this is what I actually live like every single day. Like I gotta go get it every single day.
Yeah, but and also at the same time, I mean, they went and got it, and then they're doing good. So let's talk about growing from there.
Well,
Which indeed, I mean, why? But that isn't. There's no price tag on that. Like,
Go ahead. I heard somebody wanted to jump in. Go ahead.
hip hop artists right now, you know what? And there's always been a group of hip hop artists in hip hop that have been not just the greatest lyricists in hip hop, but they've been the greatest lyricists in music, like in music at that particular time. And so hip hop has expanded to something that has gone beyond just a message of, you know, hatred. So we can't just really put it in a monolithic sort of sense. And I think that sometimes we do that when we start talking about hip hop. You automatically think of it as a monolith, but there's so much variety, so many different things in terms of the way that these men and women are expressing themselves now, that if you're listening to only negative things and you feel like it's only negative things from hip hop, it's really only your fault. Like you got to take some onus on that one too. I mean, because there are outstanding artists that will run you through a gambit of different emotions, and it's colorful, and so, you know,
we got one on the show.
Exactly.
we got a wonderful artist on the show. Duke,
Hey.
you think that there's any correcting hip hop? I mean, not hip hop, but commercial rap. Do you think it can be fixed, or is it just is it broken forever?
No, we got to create a new genre. That's all. We just got to create the genre for it. We
Create
don't have
a new
to
genre.
We can leave the commercial, because everybody likes to go to the club, throw their bottles in the air, taste. You know what I mean? We don't even have to attack them anymore. See, what the people of past time forgot about. If you don't like it, if you don't like Walmart, go make one.
Yeah.
Make your own store.
Yeah.
So we don't like Nipsey Hussle. Nick, if I don't like the percentages in the industry, I'm going to sell my music how I want to sell it, $100. I'm going to sell it how I want to sell it. If I don't like Gucci, I'm going to go purchase Marathon clothing. If I don't like Prada shoes, I'm getting my Yachties from Master P then. Or I'm going to go get some FUBU or something. I'm going to go back. Hey, look at what's the name, man. Let's go make some brand new Forest buys then. What's up?
All right, here. What you think, Anthony? What do you think about the idea that Duke said about creating another genre? I'm gonna ask all of you guys that, Nasha and Robert as well. What do you think, Anthony?
I mean, I think that's a good idea, you know, but the whole thing about that is, once again, like we talked about earlier, you're going to have to stay independent.
Don't be pessimistic.
You know, I'm just saying you're going to have to stay independent. No, I ain't going to be pessimistic. I'm just going to say we have to stay independent,
right,
though, because
once
you get with those big record labels, they're either going to buy, if they want to keep the negativity come out.
Master P and Jay Prince can fund the whole genre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But do they want to, if it seems like it's so hard to switch and get the positive people to buy the positive music? Again, somebody mentioned that earlier in here, and I'll ask all of you guys this too. Do you think that capitalism is just too strong to change the message in rap?
No, we don't have to change the message in rap. Let it stay.
I think it is. I think it is for those particular guys that he named. The only reason why I say it is because it would be an investment. And a lot of times, just like them guys are all smart men, and they're not going to want to take the investment and spend that type of money on an investment.
That's why you
got
to think called silent partners, cuz.
They don't have investments. They have consultants. They don't know nothing about that. All they know is they spend it.
Hey, no, I give Master P and them a little bit more credit than that. But I just feel like, you know, you have to do it on your own, and you have to stay independent. Don't worry about any of these record labels or using anybody else's money. You just have to put out good, like you said, create your own genre, create good music. And when that money starts rolling in, don't run out and buy a Bentley. You know what I mean? Like, you know, put the money into your own company and promote your own music. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think it can be done. but it's gonna have to be high quality music, and you're gonna have to stay independent, because once you sign with one of these, these record labels that, in the mainstream, they're going to either take your music over and block you, have you sign a deal, won't put your album out so they can keep putting out the negative music, or they're going to just buy you out and put you on the shelf. So I just feel like you got to stay independent at the end of the day. It's a great idea, it can be done, but you're gonna have to do it independently.
And the only reason why I said their names is because I highly respect their mentalities. But on top of that, they're in the media talking about it now. In this current decade, they're talking about it. So what's up? Master P, Jay Prince, Dame Dash, what's up?
I mean, Master P made a whole song about cooking crack.
But
so it's like,
I understand that, but he also had a pilot on Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
He also brought out Lil Romeo to compete with Lil Bow Wow, which was a media marketing, like it's a whole thing.
Exactly.
I remember Lil Bow Wow. That was my boo. But also at the same time, look at what he rapped about. It
Shad
was.
Moss ain't your boo? You only like
No.
it when you don't like Shad Moss?
No, only when he was Lil Bow Wow, and I was like in the 5th grade. So it was cool. I mean, it was like.
Shout out to Master P, because I know he watches the show.
Hey,
no, for real.
Hey, Nashanae and Kelly, did you guys ever think that you would be doing a podcast with Robert Kelly? Be honest.
Be real honest, but not too honest, because I live in San Bernardino too. I will find you.
San Bernardino's big. So I can say whatever I want to say. You'll never find me.
Soapbox link, it comes up in the comments and it's in the description. So if you want to go to Soapbox Heroes channel, all you have to do, it comes up, and then you can go to the link in the description and go over there and subscribe.
And this is something I want to say real quick. I'm not trying to bash Master P, because I do have a lot of respect for him. But all I'm saying is he had to go negative to get the money to go positive. You know what I mean?
No, he didn't have to go negative. He was just speaking on what was going on at the time, like real rappers are supposed to, because that's what he had movies to go with it. I'm about it. He had I Got the Hook Up to go with it. He had The Last Don to go with everything that he was actually living.
So and was that a part of Master P's real life, you guys think? Because that was some of the distinctions that we were talking about earlier.
We was just talking about that earlier. Master P was able to talk about Mr. Ice Cream Man, because that's what he was living. That's what he was putting in his own movies that he put out himself. So he got the right to do all of them things. You feel what I'm saying? And we followed it, and we didn't have to do some of the stuff that he did in how he had to go about doing it. And that's what being like an OG is, a pioneer is. Let me go get
so
it.
So you think Master? I don't mean to cut you off, but you really think Master P actually really hustled?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
there's no, you can't deny that. And he got $1 billion before Jay-Z. He got $1 billion before anybody.
Really?
I'm talking about selling work. Like you really think he actually sold work?
Regardless, I'm not finna incriminate his whole whatever. But
okay.
How Master P portrayed how he came up. What can you say? Mac is in prison. The shell shot cat, he in prison right now. Then you got C Murder. Man, these niggas, they really live these lifestyles. You know what I'm talking about? Coming up from a long time. They really like Too Short. He really lived that lifestyle. He can talk about pimping. You know what I'm talking about? Luke really lived that lifestyle. He can talk about wild parties and get money. They can talk about this stuff. You know what I mean?
Okay, here we got somebody new in. We got Chris in, the one and only Chris. Chris,
what up, son?
Introduce yourself.
How y'all doing?
Chris. Introduce yourself, Chris, and then go ahead and give us your 12 cents. Let us know what you think, what's on your mind.
Well, my name is Christopher Brown. I live in Vegas. I'm from Brooklyn. I consider myself a avid hip hop fan. And as far as my 2 cents about the commercial rap, I definitely think it is something going on, but I think it's so much to go for what y'all was saying, but I'll try to make it quick. The spirit behind these kids is coming from anger, coming from wanting to be respected by women, wanting to be manly, so they don't attract themselves to that conscious, woke, want to say the world kind of music because they don't care about that. They see figures who are like Blueface and Migos and them who are dominating situations, dominating women, and they are in charge, so they gravitate towards the manliness behind it. And the fact that it is also about violence and selling drugs and all this stuff doesn't help because the people just, there's a lot of reasons to that, but my short answer to that will be because they fell away from the truth, so they believing into the money in any ways to get it. But yeah, I can't think of nothing else to say. I would want to ask a question though.
Go ahead. And I'm showing a picture of Blueface because you mentioned Blueface again. I like to show this.
Oh yeah, Blueface, baby. I love Blueface.
What you talking about? Go ahead, Chris. Ask whatever question you want.
Well, I'm always around like a lot of young people, a lot of young boys, and so I see exactly what music they listen to, and I hear the music too, and I see how everyone says the music speak to them and stuff. So I want to ask people, why do the people go to music to find something that is they feel is missing in themselves? What are they missing in themselves that's causing them to be so into the whole music thing?
What are they? That's the question you asked.
That's the question.
Yeah. What is people?
Go ahead. Repeat it, Chris.
Missing? What are people missing in their life that they feel they have to, like, when you turn on the music, like, I gotta hear some music? Why do people always like, what is that feeling they're looking for?
Acceptance,
for them to be one.
Validation, all of that, acceptance and validation.
Nasha, what were you saying?
Well, she said the same exact thing, validation. I was saying it helps soothe the mental. When you're going through a lot of stuff, you're looking for relatable things to make you feel like, oh yeah, like validation. I'm trying to validate how I'm feeling right now.
I got
Yeah.
Oh.
So I got 100 guns, 100 clips. Soothes your mental. I see you, Nasha.
I'm from New York.
Robert,
and it does. It does.
Hold on. Let me speak on that because I love the Murder Inc. Ashanti Ja Rule. Every thug needs a lady. Now he really made us wanna, you know what I mean? Like, you know, hey man, get with the women. You know what I'm saying? So when Ja Rule was being pressed like he was being pressed, man, I'm from New York. It was a statement. So people I connected with, and I'm from Texas. Nigga, I'm like, man, nigga, I'm from New York.
Chris is really from New York.
Yeah, I'm New York too.
Oh yeah, I'm from Brooklyn. I even got the Biggie on my wall if you see it. But yeah, like when I was young, I loved 50 Cent and Eminem and stuff like that because it was like how y'all say acceptance or something like that. It was feeding that energy, and I would listen to 50 Cent and Tupac and Lil Wayne every single day. And when I hear the words, it would do something to me to where I would be like, I'm like this is me. You know, even sometimes when I was young, I would imagine that's me singing them lyrics. That's not, you know, that came from me. So I would identify so much with it. And then I tried to become that. I tried to become Lil Wayne. I tried to become 50 Cent. And and I see what y'all saying as far as the commercial and the self-destructive behavior and stuff. So I want to ask y'all, why aren't people getting this inspiration and this, how do you say, I want to say guidance? Because I would listen.
See, I want to, and that's why I want to answer his first question. I don't mean to cut him off, but I still want to answer his first question.
And Robert, you got to answer his first question too if you up to it.
And I see where he is about to go with that. He's talking about guidance, and that's why I would say when people who are listening to this music, I mean, good music is good to listen to, but I also feel like people are listening to that music because they're looking for role models.
Hold on, man.
There's some young brothers out here who don't have their fathers around for whatever reason. Not always because they're in jail. So they're looking for role models. They're looking for advice. They don't, sometimes as much as some of these women believe that they can raise a man out here, on their own and they don't need no man to do it. a lot of these young dudes is listening to these men who rapping as like male role models, getting advice from them on how to deal with women, how to deal with the streets, how to deal with situations, how to make money. So I feel like, you know, some of these people are actually listening to this music because they're, you know, it's like a role model for them. You know, they don't have a dad they can call on the phone and be like, hey, dad, you know, there's a situation going on and what should I do or what choice should I make? You know, they're listening to these guys and they make it all sound so cool. They're like, you know, before you know it, like he was saying, you know, the brother Chris admitted that he got so wrapped up in the music, he wanted to be like these guys. And, you know, I don't think there's nothing wrong with that. If you're listening to something repetitive over and over and over and over again, it's going to have you, you know. I mean,
I listen to Get Rich or Die Trying every day.
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. Who hasn't found a song or heard a song that you could play on repeat 4 times in a row?
Right.
So if you can't believe that some of this could be, you know, influence you to do either good or bad or to make bad decisions, you know, it's just like some of these brothers who, like you said, you listening to some of these dudes and they're running through all these different chicks. And nowadays you have the Instagram. When we was younger, you didn't have the Instagram. So you couldn't even see for the most part, other than the rap video, you would see your favorite rapper hanging out with some chick in a rap video. But now you can go to Instagram or Twitter and you see your favorite rapper with a new Instagram IG model damn near every day or every week.
Yeah, I want to be like you.
I want to be like you, like, you know what I mean? So it's like
because they think that's the following for success.
Exactly. You know, they don't, you know, and I'm not trying to down some of these women.
Wait,
I'm sure some of them.
Duke, Maple Syrup want to jump on?
Yeah, he from Canada, man. He made a video about Silly the Squid not putting out the footage, just like Chosen TV did, and Death of a Cloud Chaser did, and you did. So he's a part of the Broadcasters Association daily.
All right, Maple Syrup. I'm gonna leave my email address in the comment box over there where you at, and then just email me your email address, or from your email, download the Zoom app, and I'll send the link to your email, and it'll bring you in. Sorry about that, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I just
no, you're good.
Pop
you
up
good.
real quick. Go ahead.
You good. You gotta do what you got. You gotta do what you gotta do. You and Duke. You know, I see you guys are running, you know, channels. So if you got something you gotta say or something you're trying to do, hey, no problem, man.
Thanks, patience. Go ahead, brother.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you know, I agree with some of the stuff that all these brothers are saying about the music, and I'm not just trying to bash music, because I do believe under certain circumstances, sometimes it's good to listen to things. I mean, and can get your mind off of things, you know. But at the end of the day, when we're talking about the youth here, they can be influenced by this shit in a real negative way, and you know, so. You know, when like the brother was asking the question he was asking, I feel like a lot of it is you're looking for a role model. You're looking for, because there are some men out here who are young men, you know, in their 12, 13, 14, and they are becoming more manly, like Duke was talking about, where you're going to make that decision in your life, whether you about to be a beta male or an alpha male. So you already know.
I know Nasha want to say something. Go ahead.
Who said beta male?
Beta.
Christopher. So
Duke,
if you're
a male or a beta male?
Man, I'm a motherfucking alpha guy.
Yeah, you even got to ask that question.
I feel like a lot of young men are just looking, like you said, for a role model, but then again, at the same time, basically with the role models that they have out nowadays, there's actually a lot of undercover rappers. I don't know why, but I've heard this song called Obituary, and I'm still trying to understand it, or understand why young men like it. But like you said, they're looking for something that they could vibe to, that they can relate to, and then they end up on the worst stuff in the entire world. And we're not encouraging all those younger rappers to go out and say, hey, let's talk about stuff, how we can change things. We have it in the undercuts. But then what ends up happening is we don't encourage it anymore. And you were talking about Master P running industries to try to restart things. The Black Annie didn't get as much clout as it deserved, because I think it was rushed in order to try to put it out there to encourage Black art. But a lot of our stuff is going under the way because nobody's funding it. We prefer to fund Bituary, and we prefer to fund stuff like the Twerk City Gals thing. There was a video you guys talked about like a long time ago, and
the City Girls.
Well, no, because the City Girls. Now, and I get why a lot of young women could like it because it's like that hard beat, and like we like hard beats as it is, and kind of like that bass, and then that the way the tempo's going, and it kind of gives you that encouragement feeling, and then the words don't really make any sense, but we listen to it, then eventually after a while we absorb it because we're still like sponges, and then we begin to act on it. So imagine if we did the same exact song but switched the lyrics around. I've actually heard some Christian rap artists Lord, they go, bless you, they go, and they actually have encouraging words and a big following. And I think it's very possible to do the exact same thing with our current rap. But that's
don't we understand too that like our youth are the target, like the media targets the youth, the government controls the media. It's all a big elaborate, plot, like to get people to think that they can't be more than just like, that nigga on the street. You know what I'm saying? Like I mean, their kids are moldable, impressionable. They're learning. This is what they have to look forward to. This is what they're looking at. This is what they see every single day, and it gets worse and worse by the year. By the year. Tell me it don't get worse by the year.
Is it getting worse, Chris? Or think about it. Is it getting worse? Or back in the day, is it stayed the same? Because rap had some effects back in the day. Rap was getting people getting shot up in drive-bys when I was a kid. You would turn up NWA or the Ghetto Boys, not even really the Ghetto Boys. You turn on some Spice One, and somebody was gonna get laid down. Is it that much of a difference nowadays than it was then, or are we just hypersensitive to it now? Chris, what you think?
Well, I'm listening to the conversation, and I'm kind of hearing what's happening, and I'm noticing everyone's talking about the bad effects of the rap. So what I want to say what some bad effects is just with Black people in general. It's widely known that Black people is about 13% of the population, something like that. But we are getting caught doing over half of the violent crimes in this country. So it doesn't make sense to me, and it's the men mostly. So about 7 to 8% of our population is committing most of the violent crime, more than half. And it's because they are thugs. They don't have guidance, and they are being led by the rappers. I was led by the rappers. I'm around young people every single day, and just it's never a week that go by where I don't see guns or someone's fighting or someone's getting shot at, or even worse, someone's dying. So it never happens to me that it seemed like it's some outside influence that's hurting. It's not the government, it's the people. They don't believe in God. They're all into the music, and it's like a snowball effect. Because a long time ago in ancient times, like in certain cultures, they would kill you for dancing. They didn't like when you danced sexually or did anything like that, because they saw the evil it would bring eventually. And that's what's happening now in the Black community. Yeah, 1 second, please. The Black community is getting really into sex and drugs and violence, and they don't like God anymore. They hate Jesus and all that. Like most of them will openly say they are their own God and stuff like that. And it's so amazing to me how people, like even in this conversation itself, I'm waiting for us to talk about what the effects are. What is the crime, the prostitution, and all this stuff is being done by Black people. So is it the music?
That's why I said I was frustrated. That's why I said I was frustrated with it, because they don't explain it. They don't explain it at all. They don't do it.
All right, here. Go ahead, Kelly and Nasha, or Kelly or Nasha, or Kelly then Nasha, and then Robert. You still there, Mr. Kelly?
Yeah, you can't see me.
Okay, yeah, I can see you. It's people in the screen, so my screen it rotates people in and out. When they get done, Mr. Kelly, can you please jump in? I have a good feeling that you got something that you would like to say. Go ahead, Nasha.
Oh, I know I was gonna kind of jump on to what Christopher just said about the tribe. So I was thinking about that tribe-like mentality that we created way before anything started, music and all that different stuff. And young boys, how they were raised, they went to different male leaders of the tribe in order to teach them how to be men. So now the way that they're being raised nowadays, there's not a lot of fathers in the home. There's not a lot of successful men in their home. So they're going to rap in order to kind of progress them and grow them to the men that they are today. And even it kind of creates more of like animal, kind of like a animal kingdom type of effect, type of thing. Like,
well, I don't mean to cut her off, but she's making a good point, and I'd like to just comment on that point real quick, and it's gonna be short. But we don't have elders. We don't have elders. You know, we don't respect. A lot of these young kids don't respect their elders, and another thing is too, you know, they tend to lean more towards what's famous, who has the jewelry, who has the nice car, who's famous. They don't want to take no information or listen to some elder who's just driving a Honda. You know what I mean? Like, but he can give you good advice, but you're looking at the guy on Instagram with the jewelry, flashing the cash. So, you know, a lot of time they tend to go more towards that way.
All right. Here, Duke. I know you got a lot of stuff going on. I'm looking over on your page. They like, start another live. Get in here and talk to us about these rappers, man. What's going on with the commercial rappers? Duke, just break it down. What's the problem?
Man, they don't really see the perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like the community perspective. They don't actually see what's at stake. We got generations at stake. You know what I mean? We got warriors thinking that they're women. We got warriors feeling like, you know what I'm saying, they don't have anything else but selling drugs and popping pills. When they don't even understand it. Most of those opioids, they're psychotropic medications. They're turning everybody into psych patients. They're dehumanizing us. They don't understand that. You feel what I'm talking about? And all these guys that say they got these millions and this and that, like Tupac said, how can you say that you got millions and quadrillions, bazillions, and we still got people starving and hungry out here? We got neighborhoods not being funded with colleges and real educational centers instead of like little community centers where they're giving away a few canned goods that you can get on the computer and do your resume. What about some actual help? What about some actual assistance? We don't got none of that. You know what I'm talking about? And all these guys is balling. We ain't got none of that.
Keep yelling.
That's actually what I want to open up out here in San Bernardino. That's actually a goal of mine, to open up a restaurant and a resource center to help out with the Black community, or even just with the community, period. I wanted people to bring in canned goods and be able to give them back out to those, because I've been homeless and I've had no food before, and I know how it is, and I open my home up to those who need as well. But there's so many job opportunities that's lost because of it, and there's just, you know, being able to have the books for college, for preparations like that, and different stuff. Just kind of progressing forward instead of just keep knocking everybody down because they don't have it.
Instead of allowing Jehovah's Witnesses to go from door to door with that nonsense, that John Smith nonsense, how come reputable
that's
counselors
Mormonism.
Counselors don't come door to door? And you know what I'm saying? Like, how come they don't come door to door and like, hey, okay, well let's fix the relationship. Hey, we got some good information, or we got these good techniques or whatever that can help you fix your relationship. Like commerce and helping you banking. How come these people they don't come to our institutes and our community and, you know, shed light on this information? You know what I'm talking about? Instead of just trying to sell us and control us and turn us into slaves and shit. Fuck that.
And look at what the Black Panthers tried to do, and look at what we're not.
Okay.
Exactly.
I see you got your hand up. This is cool. They got a little feature you can put your hand up. I see your hand up, Chris. So wait, before we come to you, Chris, let's see if Robert got something he want to add in. And if you can, hit the subscribe button. And after you do that, go to P. Smith all the way live and make sure you subscribe to P. Smith. Subscribe to Death of the Clout Chaser. You guys go ahead and knock that out. And also Ivy Weaver, if you haven't got a chance to, that's the author. Go check her out. And Paper Doll Houses. Since we are here on whatever channels that you might be watching on, You guys go subscribe to those people. Show just a little bit of love. You know, it's better together. We could go after it together. Go ahead, Robert. Say what you chime in, Robert, if you got something you want to chime in on, and then we'll come to you, Chris, because I know you got something you wanted to say.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you think about it, when the way people the reason that you say, you know, the question that Christopher brought up was a good one. What are people trying to fulfill by music? Music is something that's totally organic. You can't run into it. If you ran into a person that said they don't like music, no kind of music, you would look at them like they were crazy, because humans love music. And it's just different types for different people depending on the culture you grew up in and things like that. Music is something that's totally organic, something that's totally human. It's part of the human experience. And when you listen to music, you're looking to connect to that human experience any way that you can. You know what I mean? I think that even though we all might listen to hip hop music and have something to say about it, it's probably not the only genre of music that we listen to. You know what I mean? Hip hop itself is not monolithic, and people are not a monolith. And sometimes when we turn on music and when we enjoy music, we want to connect with the human experience in all of its forms. And as long as there are young Black people that have something to say, they're going to be Black people that are going to want to listen to it. You know what I mean? No matter what. If sometimes my son, he's 5, and he listens to hip hop music, and I listen to hip hop music in my house, and he'll start just rapping. He'll try to rap. He don't even make real words. He just rapping, saying something, thinking he's trying to rhyme here and there and there. And I pretend like I'm just nodding my head to it, everything like that. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to connect with him on something that he's doing. And if we got, and we, a lot of us, I guess, are older than, most of us are older than 30. I think Chris might be a little younger than that. But all of us are over 30. You know what I mean? But we need to think of it. We need to look at some way that we need to look at every single way that we can to connect with these young people, man. And if hip hop is what they're listening to, man, let's get excited. Let's get excited about what they're doing to a certain extent.
So get excited so you could kind of bond. Like you said earlier, you bond with your kids over the Migos. Take off.
Right, exactly. If they saying, you know what, if they saying something, you know what I mean, that's a part of their experience, we can't necessarily connect with it, let's talk about it. Like, hey man, why if you're rapping about selling drugs, you know what I mean? I mean, like, what do you think about that, really? You know what I mean? Do you sell drugs? It's an opportunity to open up a conversation. It's an opportunity to talk about those things. It's an opportunity to see pain points, because kids won't tell you stuff sometimes. But when you watch them express themselves and in their art, like when a little baby kid, when they're like being molested or something like that, and people don't know, they have them draw pictures because they can't talk about it. They have them do art because the way that they express themselves is going to give you an idea of how to deal with them. It's the same thing with this hip hop music, man. We got to meet these kids where they at. And sometimes we got to, you know what I mean? Because even if you look at the industry, a lot of the people making that hip hop music, they're young people. They're young people doing this music. They're in their 20s. They're young people, and even some of them are even younger. And we got to meet them where they're at if we're going to heal the community, instead of just condemning them. Oh no, you can't talk about that. That is the worst thing you can say to a teenager. Ain't y'all all been teenagers before? The worst thing somebody can tell you is something that you can't talk about, something you can't do in a way you can't express yourself. That is backfires all day.
Okay.
Well, this is what I want to say real quick while he's saying, I hate to just hop in real quick, but I want to say one thing. One thing we have to recognize is that no matter if Black people says it's cool, then it seems to be cool for everybody. That's why you got white rappers, Asian, Chinese rappers, Mexican rappers. So if we change the narrative and support a different narrative or like a different genre, like Duke was saying, that will become popular. You know what I mean? So, you know, we have to support a different move as well. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Robert, but we also have to support a different direction.
Okay. Hey, you guys, Chris got his hand up. So Chris, go ahead and ask what you want to ask. And after that, I want to come to, we got Death of the Clout Chaser on here. The best hip hop, the best rap blogger on the net is on here, gracing our presence. So Chris, go ahead and ask what you want to ask. I see your hand up over here. You hit the raise hand button. So go ahead and drop your question or whatever. Then we're gonna go over to Depth of the Clout Chaser and see what he got to say. Go ahead, Chris.
Well, yeah, thanks for having me on again. It's nice to be here with you guys, talk about this. One thing I noticed is all our battles is spiritual. We don't wrestle with the flesh or the black and the white or the racism and none of that. It's a spiritual battle. And it's happening in our hearts and minds. So all these, how we keep talking about the music, one quick thing about the music, which this is obvious science and people have known this for a long time. The whole debate about the music causing damage went wrong because they said the music is actually a product of what the people want to hear. And it's not necessarily that they're making music to brainwash people. They've studied music to a point. I don't know if you heard about how they made Pandora with the I forget the name, slips me, but they've studied music, the Music Genome Project. They broke music down every single possible way you can make it, and they studied all the different variants of it. Also, most music that is made, of all the musical artists, only 10% ever get play, and only about 10% of their music ever actually gets heard. So it boils down to people want to hear certain songs because they like how it goes. But the spiritual aspect is that it's a spirit that lives in the people, this spirit of anger, this spirit of I'm a thug, this spirit of all the stuff that comes out of what we see, the whole black mentality. You have all these black ghetto, the whole ghetto thing is a spirit that's infected the people. Another spirit that has infected them, and this is what come with the conscious rappers, is the spirit of being overly intellectual and everyone thinking that they can change things or that they know better than the next person. That's just another spirit too. It's all an evil spirit that's in the people. The reason that we go towards the music is because we lack true peace. We don't have peace, and we don't have peace because we didn't see examples of it. So we go to what we think is a fake peace. We think E40 is at peace. We think 50 Cent is at peace because he's proven himself. He's got shot, he killed people, he sold drugs, now he has money and bitches. So we desire that fleshly peace versus the actual peace that comes from having a real father and a real connection with God. So my question to y'all would be, do y'all think that it is a conspiracy theory that has created the music in a way to influence the people, or do you think it is the result of what I say, the spirit manifesting and spreading throughout the people, the spirit of evil, and that's what's attracting them to the booty twerking and all this other mess?
Okay, that's a good question. And look, before we get to that question, let's go ahead and bring Clout in. Clout, Depth of the Clout Chaser.
Bad blogs.
What's
up,
man?
What you gonna do
What's
when
good,
we come
bro?
for you? Bad
What's
blogs,
good?
bad
Hey,
blogs.
let everybody know where they can come and find you and where to go subscribe to the Best Hip Hop Blog on YouTube.
Yeah, man, y'all go check me out on YouTube at Depth of the Clout Chasers TV, man. We just launched the podcast the other day. We got Duke Farrow on the first episode. We got in depth, you know what I'm saying? We talk about his childhood and up until who he is today. So y'all definitely go check out that content, man. Just search Depth of the Clout Chasers TV.
All right, I appreciate you tapping in. What's your thoughts? What you want to add to the conversation? Let us have it.
Well, I was just thinking like far as like you know, like a person, I'm from Chicago, and I lived in the hood in Chicago. I actually lived in San Bernardino County. I also lived in Las Vegas. I'm currently in Atlanta. So I've been around this thing. Only place I really ain't touched heavy is the East Coast. You understand? And usually a lot of times I don't think it's rap music that's doing anything to these kids. In fact, I don't even think that these kids are even listening to rappers anymore. You know what I'm saying? I think that music is designed to be a moment, you know what I'm saying, only. So whether it's the Migos talking about, you know what I'm saying, the booty shaking or the city girl shaking their booty, you supposed to remember that moment, that time, and that energy of what's going on at that particular time. You know what I'm saying? And I think that actually the kids are being more of adults because they the ones with their own personality. They the ones that's blowing up YouTube. You don't have to be, oh damn, it's only 3 cartoons on and 2 networks no more. No, you can go find your own content. You know what I mean? So I honestly just think that we backpedaling by even having these type of discussions rather than putting what's on at hand, and really is technology. You know what I'm saying? Because technology is the reason that they know these algorithms. It ain't the damn egos. It ain't
They
you.
still
It ain't
they
none
still
of these.
act on what they see.
Yes,
They
sir.
still, it doesn't matter. Media is only for maybe 2-3 hours at the most. They still have another 24-hour
My
time.
kids don't listen to YouTube, and everybody I ever meet nowadays, I ask them like, "Yo, your kids be watching TV?" They be like, "Oh, they watch YouTube. They watch YouTube." Then I watch,
and that's
on
the
their
segue.
YouTube is
That is the
what they want to
segue
watch.
into what we're gonna be talking about. What he
All right.
just said is the segue. Now we really finna get into that after this discussion. That's how we coming, y'all.
All right. And look, let me read this real quick. My partner Jay Steed says, I disagree. Without the spirit of change, our leaders wouldn't accomplish what they have accomplished in this country. He also says, the reason for our declines as a people in this country has nothing to do with music. It has to do with the lack of knowledge of self. We have to study our history pre-America, pre-slavery, and teach our kids about our dynasties. That's a reason why dynasties are not taught in school, college, etc. They want to keep us in a half state. They want to keep us in a self-hate state. So he's saying they want to keep us in a state of self-hate. Anthony, Robert, Cloud, Duke, Nasha, what you guys think about that? Robert?
It's true.
First of all, I'm not a spiritual person. I don't believe in spirit.
All right.
It's
Robert
true.
said he ain't a spiritual person. Anthony,
It's true.
Nasha, Duke, Death. What'd he say? What you guys say to Jay?
I agree about the if you're going to talk about the spirituality part. Yeah, I agree. You have to look within yourself and kind of reach out and pull out that inner bad part or whatever, the past that used to be you, and evolve into be a better person. But then also at the same time, psychologically, like I think it was Robert that was saying about how the music is used to help out with a child, especially when, was it Robert? I'm sorry, but how it's used.
What's called it? They just spoke on it. It's confirmed. It's true.
Yeah, how it's used as a tool to help. I think music does have a huge influence right now because there's a lot of stressed out people in the world who have a lot of anxiety, and there's different tools to help them, especially with their mind. So a lot of it is music fueled. You do have hip hop, rock, whatever you could possibly think of that's going to help them out. And the music is kind of getting into the mind, and it's creating the person that they are, especially if they're so young.
But isn't that the premise of life though? Like as becoming like an adult, isn't it progression? Isn't it to like be better? Like isn't that the progression of life? Like to understand.
Not really. I mean, it is,
not,
but there's some people who never grow up. There's some people who just never grow up and never mature.
Which I understand that. I mean, but to understand like as a human being, like at some point, like when is that gonna be enough? You know what I'm saying? Like just coasting on like safe or whatever, coasting on like regularity, like something has to change.
Then you have to start teaching about breaking the ego and making yourself more humble.
And ego, that when ego dies, that's when universality exists. So
what is an ego? What does that mean?
Ego?
So there's
go ahead.
Well, I hate it.
I wanted to touch on something that the Cloud Chaser said, and I'm gonna touch on that after this. Go ahead, you guys. Go ahead, answer his question.
Ego is a sense, it's yourself. So you have 3 different parts of you: your mind, your brain, and your ego, yourself. The ego is who you are as a person, who makes you up as a person. You can have too much of an ego, which kind of overpowers who you're supposed to be. And the ego also relates, and it's built up from your past, your parents, everything else. It brings down to you, even everything around you that's building you as a person. So you might have your own mind, but your ego can get in the way of your development, if that makes sense. So if your ego is inflated type of thing, oh, my ego is inflated because I allowed something to destroy me because I took it too personally, instead of not overthinking it, but thinking it through to the point where it doesn't apply to you so much. And so it's not really an egotistical manner. It's more of like a sense of understanding, but it's a sense of self-awareness.
And ego resides in your frontal lobe inside of your brain.
I see you got the what is it, obligata Up there,
I got
the
the
alma
diagram.
doula obligata,
Yeah,
Dr.
Karen
Duke,
Brooks.
the neuro
Yeah.
doctor. Hey,
Yeah.
Death of the Cloud Chaser earlier said something about the youngsters may be more mature because they're adapting.
Exactly.
What do you guys think about that? In depth, you want to touch on that again? Say that again. Say what you said about the youth being the one that's adapting. Maybe they're more mature.
Yeah, absolutely, man, because they got their own brain. Like what they're talking about now they actually talking about from self-experience. Just like that guy talked about him being listening to 50 Cent. Like anybody who was from the hood or lived in that type of environment, trust me, man, they looked outside their window every day and saw 50 Cent. They damn so didn't want to be him. You know what I mean? So with that being said, I think nowadays these kids got more of a brain. They actually like whatever they like, they go find it. They go search on YouTube. They don't care if that person only got 5 followers. That's what they gonna be listening to. That's what they like. You know what I'm saying? Versus, like I said, the old school method is, oh, what they doing? Let me go listen to that because it's radio. That's all old school. That's not going on right now. Trust me. And different parts of this country, we're gonna see it. We're gonna see it like full, like with our own eyes in just a second. Just watch.
Okay. I used to be a drug and alcohol counselor, okay, out in Los Angeles, California. I managed 13 girls, so all the way from 12 years old all the way to 18, and then boys from 12 years old all the way to 21 years old. Those kids are so smart. They're so smart and they're so capable. And I mean, right now, like our system, our society is set up for those kids to fail. They are not set up to be anything other than like those kids are like the people that you see in media. They're not meant to be anything else other than that. That's what the society tells them. They tell them that they're not capable, that they're not able. I had a girl, she was literally from Rolling 60s, okay, like 15 years old, Rolling 60s, like just about as hood as you could ever be. You know what I'm saying? But she was so smart and she was so like ready to get out of there. Like, and there was one time where they were like I don't know, like harassing her, like the staff. Like there was a lot of staff that was harassing her. She just started crying. She was like, "Miss, like I don't think like I can make it. Like I don't think like I can be what they're telling me I am right now." Like they look at me and they just see somebody that doesn't have sense or doesn't have a family that cares about me. Like they think that I'm just this like monster or something. And how can I even grow from here? And I'm like, you got to do the right thing, no matter what anybody says. You got to do the right thing when nobody's looking. That's integrity, sweetheart. Like, you're going to be all right. And guess what? She graduated from that program. You know what I'm saying? Like, these kids are so movable. Like, they are so freaking smart. Like, they are, oh my God. Like,
they're sponges.
So I agree. 100%.
Right. Okay. Well, here, let's do this. I'm going to end it this way. I'm going to read one last comment from Jay Steed. It's a wonderful comment and to give everybody a good close. So I'm going to read his comment. You guys answer his comment. And after you do that, let everybody know where they can find you. When we get to the last person, we're going to go ahead and end it. I know Duke got some things to do. Dang, Duke, did you miss the prank calls tonight? You're going to have people mad at me if you missed the prank calls. So look.
No, we can do them after this.
All right. Yeah. And again, you guys make sure you let people know where to go follow you and where to go subscribe. And you guys definitely make sure you guys go subscribe to Death of the Cloud Chaser. And I got something for you to send to you, Death of the Cloud Chaser, when we get done with this. Let me read the question and we'll start with you. The real Robert Kelly. Jay Steve says, truthfully, we have failed our children by allowing music and entertainers to influence them negatively. Black fathers, more so than our women, need to step up. Robert Kelly, go ahead and give your response to that. Let us know where to find you, and we're gonna move on. That's the last question.
Robert Kelly, Facebook, Talk is Wild, TALKWYLD. That's my URL. Look for me on the Best Case Scenario podcast right here on the Soapbox Heroes Network.
Yes, sir. It's a wild life, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. And to answer your question, basically, no, we haven't failed our kids, because for every kid that I see that is in trouble on the streets, or someone that people seemingly have no hope, I see other kids that are doing different, better things, more positive things. They're breaking down barriers. they're crossing lines, they're going leaps and bounds. And every time you talk to kids like that, there's a teacher, there's another man, a woman, there's somebody that has touched their lives. In any group of people that you get together, you're going to have good people, you're going to have bad people, you're going to have people that want to do good things, you're going to have people that want to do bad things. And so you know, but you can't get focused on the fact that yes, there are bad things about or undesirable things about our community. Our community, to me, based on where we've come from, being the descendants of slaves, we are stronger than we've ever been before. And no, it's not something that's perfect, but it's better than it was, and it's going to continue to get better. And we have to have the mindset that we haven't reached our full potential as a people, but we have to understand our potential as a people. And no, we have not failed our people. We have not failed because we have not stopped fighting. And as long as we keep fighting, we have not failed our children. You understand what I'm saying? We are actually equipping people to do things in the next generation. I have believed that the next generation is going to surprise us in ways that we can't even imagine.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Robert. And look, I see in the comments, we still got all P. Smith all the way live. And P. Smith, look, you might want to let some of us come on. P. Smith do a great show as well, where they have wonderful dialogue and they just build on all type of things. You got some builders, P. Smith. I'll come on too. I don't say much on this show, but I got a lot to say. Let's go on. Anthony, you want to go ahead and respond to Jay Steed's question? You want me to read it again?
No, I heard it, and it was, and to me, it was terrible, because like my thing is, like, this society has been set up to push the black man out of the household, you know, for welfare. I mean, this is all facts. You know, 70% of black babies are born without being married. You know, so you know this court systems give the black women the custody. So, you know, they have a saying, with great power comes great responsibility. So, you know, it's harder for a black man to be able to be around his kids when the courts is telling him he can't come around, and when you have some black women who will not even let the kids see their dads. You know, so it's not always that the black man is just some deadbeat or he's in prison. That's just a myth that they use to try to throw the black man under the bus. Because when the child doesn't succeed, if the child succeeds, then the black woman can say, oh, well, you know, I'm a hero. I was the mama and the daddy, and then I raised it. But when the child fails, you can just say, well, see, his daddy wasn't shit. He wasn't around. You know, it's like a big double standard. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think black men have failed when you have children with the wrong women. You know what I mean? But overall, it's definitely, if anything, we'll call it a 50-50 split. But you can't blame this just on black men. Black women have to take some of the responsibility for this, hands down. You know what I mean? So that's just way how I see it. And but I wouldn't just say black men are failing. To me, I feel like that's one of them, you know, one of those like Hotep types that he probably thinks the black woman is God or something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I might have to get him on, Jay. If you watching one day, you might have to come on, and you and Anthony might do a nice little friendly debate on this topic at hand. But yeah, go ahead, Anthony, and don't forget to let people know where to find you. And we're gonna, like I said, because this is it, but let people know where to find you. But go ahead.
And I just want to say one last thing, you know, and if black women want to help solve this problem, give 50-50 shared parenting to the father soon as the baby come out the womb. Soon as the baby comes out the womb, 50-50 shared parenting. I don't want to hear no excuses. Don't worry about no child support. 50-50 shared parenting off the rip, so that man can be around his child, and you can't hit him with the, I don't want my kid around that other woman, because I've heard that, you know, from multiple people. So, you know, at the end of the day,
That's
you
not
know,
all women. That's
that
not
what
all women.
Go ahead, Anthony.
That's not all
okay,
women.
okay, all right.
Yeah,
So
that's not.
so
That's
you
not
you
all
know,
women.
Let him finish. We gonna finish you guys right now. Hold on.
It's
Okay.
Anthony Rivers. It's Anthony Rivers on Facebook, and you can find me also on Child Support Reform USA, where I post, and try to, put information out there to help fathers and just show that there are some men out there that should have some visitation and should be able to get their children off the rip. And not all women are great mothers as we try to, pretend.
All right, and hey, we're gonna go ahead and look. Hey, Robert, you notice you notice Anthony be getting debates crack-a-lacking every time he come on. Look, Jay in the comments, and look, you guys go to Jay page on Facebook. It's the West Side Smokers best cigar club in the Houston area. But you notice that? You notice that, Rob? Because I know soon as Nashanae and Kelly come on, they ready. But Nashanae and Kelly, Anthony not scared of y'all. I'm telling you.
We can debate.
Nobody said we scared of it.
Go ahead, Nashanae. You guys want me to read Jay's comment again?
Can I? Yeah, but I just want to say something to what he just said.
Go ahead. Told you, debate.
That's just you just centralizing like a but I don't know who. I'm so sorry for whatever happened to you, but that is not all women.
That is not all women.
Because I am a single mom and I do not do that. And actually speaking, if I'm going to be honest here, I gave that father 100% rights. He chose not to. And a lot of men out there actually choose not to. It's a choice. Hold
on.
I want your baby daddy's name. I gotta hear his side of the story.
Most females in California do that.
After the cloud chaser, you hear him? I need to hear him.
And a relationship is 100%, 100%. The woman got to give 100%. The man got to give 100%. Black men, we love you. We need you. You know what I'm saying? Black women, we have to do better. Period.
Okay, wait. So just
no, Dasha. Y'all going in a whole other direction. Look, we'll make that the next topic. We'll come back and do that because I know because Anthony got a lot of information ready for dispersal quick. So
do I.
Hold on.
Don't worry about that. I got you. Don't worry.
Let everybody know where to find you. And you guys, here, let me read his comment again. The comment that we're closing the show with is, truthfully, we have failed our children by allowing music and entertainers to influence them negatively. Black fathers, more so than our women, need to step up.
I agree. Like I said before,
blame the man.
you next, Chris.
Oh man.
Go ahead, Nasha.
Okay. So with a lot of our rap, I mean, I understand that yes, a lot of our female artists, they are actually terrible because the messages that they're portraying, they are actually promoting sexuality to the highest extreme, which is why we have so many of our young women dressing like very raunchy. I don't want to say nothing bad because I know a lot of young little girls and I help them. Yeah, but at the same time though, it's what we're teaching. So it's not even just with the women, it's also with the men as well. I mean, it's a balanced blame. And I think that if there's a lot of people out there that are willing to make that change and take a more positive spin, then yeah, sure. We need to change a lot of stuff. And like I said, there's a lot of mind frame that needs to get changed within the community. And a lot of our fathers do need to step up because there's not a lot of, and I'm not blaming any one of you, do not take any of this offense, but the percentage.
Say what you gotta say, don't worry about it.
Because it's not even like that. There's so many women I've met on this journey that I've done for my YouTube show, Paper Dollhouses, that are single mothers that are making it on their own, that do give responsibility to the parent of the male. I'm just bringing this up for a reason because it's the male's job to lead. And his job is to lead and create, especially if he has a son. So if he has a son and he doesn't lead and create for the son, now the son has to go seeking a father elsewhere. He turns to anything to make him feel better, comforting him. And so it could possibly be music because, like I said before, music is a method and a tool to help. Actually speaking, I do music reflexology with my daughter. She has ASD, autistic. She's autism. She has autism. and it helps with her mind. It helps soothe her mind. So we do a lot of that with the repeating, the behavioral patterns. And I actually was, one of my studies was music therapy. So music has such a huge play on our lives as it is, especially with stress and anxiety. So you take a young boy from a fatherless home, you give him some music, and then he sees what he's listening to. He begins to imitate it because that's all he knows. So yeah, I believe that needs to be a switch and a change. So that's why I was like, I don't want to get into that about the, the fathers. And you want to talk to my baby father, that's totally fine. You're gonna hear exactly what he want to say.
Oh, yeah, I'll take his number.
That's gonna be a whole nother debate. I already see it built up already. We're gonna set that up. Now, Shanae, let everybody know where to find you. Then Chris, we're gonna come over to you. Then we're gonna get to Death of the Cloud Chaser, and we're gonna get to Duke Pharaoh. Go ahead, Nasha.
Okay, so I do have a YouTube show that I do run with Kelly here, and it is called
Kelly. Hey,
Hi,
What's
hi.
it called? Paper Dollhouses?
So yes, it's called Paper Dollhouses. The goal is to help out with a lot of women that have gone through a lot of things. Women are the creators of life, the makers and creators, and we kind of set up with the generation and everything like that.
Not without this sperm, y'all ain't creating nothing.
We gonna come back to it, man.
I'll let you pitch your thing. I'm pitching my thing. Okay, I'm good. So no, with a woman, if you want to get technical here, we actually create in life in our womb. So everything of our thoughts and our mind frame, it kind of goes into that womb, not just the food that we eat. So imagine a broken woman going through a broken mind frame, raising a child mentally in her womb. So this child comes out kind of the same way. And then at the same time, there's so much other aspects of it. Women who have been through so much and have came out on top without the need of codependency, become stronger. A lot of our young girls are dealing with depression, suicidal rates have gone up. Domestic violence, exactly. Domestic violence, different things like that. Women who have been so broken apart, but still have to be able to be our teachers in our school system that are teaching our children. They need a place to kind of go out and push out all their anger and their, kind of like their free therapy online. Okay. So yeah.
Wow.
Okay, I hear you, and I want to thank you guys for coming on too, and make sure that you guys go check out the Paper Dollhouses channel on YouTube, and also go check out the Independent Thinkers blog. That's Jay Steed. He over here in the comments. He might as well be on the show. He lighting it up. But yeah, you guys go check out the Independent Thinkers blog. I think you can find him on YouTube. On Facebook. Let me know if I'm correct, Jay. Chris, go ahead. Respond to that last comment and let us know where to find you. Huh?
Know where to find me. You gotta come to Vegas. What stays in Vegas stays in Vegas. There's a spiritual order to life. That's God and Christ, Christ and man, man and women, women and children. What the woman was just saying, and all of y'all said so many things that made me think, and I'm like, wow, I could talk for days. So I'm gonna try to just stick to the question. But and thank you for having me. She said the woman, her influence affects the baby in the womb. I believe that to be true because the black men are weak. Black men are weak. They are not strong. They are not kings, and the black women are not queens. And I don't see no potential in them. All I see is anger and violence and rage. It's like he said, 70% of the black babies are raised out of wedlock, to a lot of them to single parents. And these single women can't give a man an example to be how to be a man because she resents the man herself. Black women hate black men with a passion. And it's a spiritual battle too. They'll say they love us, and just like men say they love women, but it's just to get what you want out of them. And that's why I say everything is a spiritual battle. Because the black man is so weak and demoralized, and they've been taught to believe that the system
go ahead, Chris,
destroying them. They've been taught to believe the system is against them. They've been taught to believe all these things is against them, and they haven't been shown how to overcome their anger. They don't, as people say, know they self. The ego is controlling their minds. Every person mind, any person who has anger is a child of the devil. And nothing they could do could be good. It doesn't matter if you are trying to change the community, do all these positive things. You are evil at heart. So even if you think you're doing good, you're actually destroying because you're showing poor example. We have emotional men because they are raised by these women who give them their spirit, just like how she said the spirit of, well, she didn't use those words, but she said the trauma and the anger rub off on the baby. That spirit of anger come from the men being weak. So yes, the black men have failed because they are not God's children. They are children of the lie. They are doomed. And unless they forgive their parents and overcome all these things of the world and return to the kingdom of heaven within, then they will never overcome and they'll live in hell and suffer and die.
All right.
That's
All
too
right,
much.
thanks, Chris.
Jesse
Thanks.
Lee
And
Peterson,
I
bro.
know I can't tell nobody where to find you because what happened in Vegas, stay in Vegas. But
What
hey,
happens in Vegas? One quick thing about me though, I tell a mess, but I stay in Las Vegas, so Emma can't leave me. And like I said before, it's not that I'm saying this because I'm aware of it because God was able to show me these things. It's nothing weak of ourselves. We could do nothing, and of ourselves we know nothing. And God has to reveal it to you. And the only way he's going to reveal it to you is if you forgive. You have to forgive your parents for being pitiful examples. And you have to forgive them for mistakes they made. You have to forgive anybody who hurt you. The black women nowadays are so dominating because the men are weak and they're filling in the void of the weak men, but they have the spirit of anger. They're raising the children to be emotional, angry children. And that's why they look to the music and the drugs and getting pussy and all that stuff. Sorry if I'm not supposed to cuss. But
Fine,
it's a spiritual battle. We have to return to having self-control and allowing God to work through us. We wouldn't be having sex out of wedlock. We wouldn't need to bust the nut that bad. We wouldn't be having abortion out of control. We wouldn't have black men committing over 50% of the crime in the country, destroying themselves. They keep saying it's the system, but they're attacking people all the time. Just yesterday, a little girl in my neighborhood got jumped by 5 little girls, and somebody was about to shoot at them to make them leave. And this happens all the time. And people keep blaming the music. The music is just a reflection of the culture. They figured that out with Tupac and Eminem and all those court cases back in the days. It is free speech. The music is designed to make money. So they study music all day, every day with the music genome, and they figured out people like A, B, and C. You notice all the artists are attractive. You're not going to put a fat lady singing Cardi B and get the same sales. The same way you're not going to get Cardi B singing about Jesus to get the same sales, because that evil spirit is taking over 99.999% of all people. We succumb to the lie. We succumb to the destruction. It's up to children of God and black men, women, white men and women to stand up for what's right and be examples to their family. It's not up to the artists to change it or the so-called black leaders or anything like that. And I could go on for days, but I'll just leave it at that.
All right. Hey, what I was going to say was this. I've noticed on everybody's way out, they so far have started a debate with somebody else. I know you done started something with Nasha. I can see Nasha Naya and Kelly over there. I know, look, and then Nasha, I saw Nasha like low key take a little jab at Anthony. I know Robert over there holding his face and shaking his head, but I want to thank you guys for holding it.
Duke went full Crip mode. He got his flag on ready for he went full Crip mode.
Yeah, but a clout chaser. Hey.
Can we do that though, Tyrone? Can we do a thing like that about, you know, child support and baby daddies and baby? I would love to do
we'll slice up the different topics that everybody want to debate on. I'll bring everybody back. You know, I love doing it, and we could definitely debate these topics. But if we debate them all tonight, we'll be on here till 7:30 in the morning, and we'll still have a long way to go. So here, let me get to Death of the Clout Chaser, Mr. Death of the Clout Chaser. Let everybody find you 2 times and respond to the comment that Mr. J. Steve left.
Yeah, like far as that comment, I would agree. You know what I'm saying? Just like the female had said earlier, most people, you know, like what she was saying earlier in regards to her giving offering to give her custody to her baby's father. And in California, a lot of females do that. And then they turn around once they old enough to watch themselves, they come and take the kid back and then go ask for child support. So what I think with that being said, and to answer that guy's question is all together, I think that women need to stop using men as they and their kids as pawns. You understand? It's like stop holding these kids over our heads and making us dangle like little punks, like the other guy said. You understand? That's what it's all about. See, what happens, I think, in the past 10 years, I blame all to females. You understand? Because the deadbeat daddy era was before that. The last 10 years has been all about these women. They the ones been telling these boys not to listen to their daddy when they daddy tell them something. Or don't do this. I think it comes from the women, period.
That's because of the weak men. They're weak men.
Look, dude, look. Sometimes, let me say this with that. Sometimes men do become weak when it comes to their kids. You understand? And that's just bottom line, my man. And that's just how it goes.
They become weak when they get to their ego with themselves.
These women want that welfare. They want that welfare.
Hold on. Y'all can't do it. Because everybody that said something that made somebody want to say something else.
I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. So just be real on that one. Like, continue.
You know what?
I'm muting you.
You're absolutely right. It's smart how she played it. I see you, Kelly. Go ahead, Death of the Clout Chaser. Finish what you were saying and make sure you let everybody know where to find you so they can come make sure they jump on that blog and the good stuff that you're doing.
Yeah, man, just to sum it up, like I said, if they just stop using these men as pawns, and like I said, a lot of men, because of that deadbeat father era, they are, heartbroken. They don't want to be that type of father. So therefore, they do become a little punks, and they do decide to, give in to the women a little bit more than usual the past 10 years. But like women, for this past decade. And shout out to Death of the Clout Chaser TV. Y'all go follow that on YouTube. Y'all also can go hit the podcast up on all podcast forums. Now follow the discussion.
All right, and I want to thank you for coming on. And hey, you guys, while there's still some people here, I know when we get to the end, people start tailing off. If you get a chance, come over to the Soapbox Heroes channel. I just uploaded right before we started this. It was a press conference today about Pamela Turner, the lady who was shot in Baytown, Texas. And I went and did the press conference, and I asked 2 questions with the regular media, with the national media and the local media. So if you guys could check that out, and tomorrow I'll be uploading an interview I did with Trey the Truth and Death of the Clout Chaser. I got something I want to send you to, far as some footage from the event. Duke Pharaoh.
Hey, what's going on, man? I've been going through some things. Y'all know my mind is pretty gifted. I've been actively living with Asperger's autism all of my life, and now I really understand it. And it's a whole nother realm and dimension. And like I say, I agree with everything that they said. Everybody's last statements, and I just want everybody to know. We coming. Like, we coming. I don't give a damn who he is. Like, we coming. I promise you we coming.
Hey.
So you can find me. You can find me everywhere. All you got to do is Google me, Bing me. I'm talking about Instagram, everything Duke Pharaoh. All you got to do is find me. That's how you find me. That's it. All you got to do is just look for Blue. That's it. That's all you got to find. That's it. I'm the Blue Devil. I am the Leah. I am evil. I promise you I am. Diablo Zuliano. Just look me up. Just Google. It doesn't even matter. Ask your mama there. Ask your friends. Ask the president. Pretty soon, the president gonna know. For real.
Duke Pharaoh. All right, you guys. I'm gonna go ahead and end it. And look, I gotta end it because I know that everybody got something to say to somebody else. We'll chop.
Are we gonna skip over how scary Duke Pharaoh was just now? I was super terrified by that.
I am so happy. Can I just say that I am so happy with someone that has a daughter with ASD, that works with the ASD community? That is the most amazing thing ever. I love that. Like, I think it's amazing. Yeah. And I feel like there's a lot of young black boys in the ASD community who don't feel like they have a voice at all. And I think that's beautiful. And I really am gonna probably talk when I go to work tomorrow and just hit up all my young boys and be like, look, y'all,
check this out.
Yes.
All right. I want to thank everybody for coming on. I want to thank everybody for watching. P. Smith, thank you for watching. Jay Steve, thank you for watching. No doubt about it. Everybody who came on. Chris, thank you for coming on. Nashane, Kelly, thank you for coming on. Anthony, thank you for coming on. Robert, always thank you for coming on. Death of a Clout Chaser, thank you for coming on. Duke Pharaoh, the one and only, thank you for coming on. And I'm Tyrone Irvin. This is Soapbox Heroes. I'm going to get out of here. You guys go to the channel and check out the stuff that I did. And look, I actually got an interview with one of the witnesses to the Pamela Turner to the shooting, to the police shooting. She didn't want her face on camera, and I have her voice on camera. She told me to just describe it in my own words, but I might have to put up some of the vocals just so people will know about the proof evidence. So yeah, I was out there with the media. I interviewed the people. I got an interview coming up with Trey the Truth, some other community leaders. This is Soapbox Heroes. You guys come to the channel tomorrow. Look at it. Check us out. We doing some good things. Thanks for helping, man. I appreciate it. We out of here, you guys. Peace.